Feels like a Rome Total War song. It does kind of. This is actually from Hitman 2. Great game. Why does it always want to start like 2 minutes in? I don't understand it. It's like it's saved to the playlist at that timestamp. It's very strange. I have to reset it every single time. There we go. Even if things aren't great right now, chat, remember you're not Nick Fuentes. That is true. That is true. You're not Nick Fuentes. Many worse places to be than where you are now. For example, Nick Fuentes. Very drunk? It's a little early, isn't it? Well, I guess it's later for you guys. Oh, excuse me. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so we're not gonna go crazy long today for a couple of reasons. First of all, as you can tell by the fact that I can't even speak properly, it is fucking freezing in here. I need to figure out what's up with the heat. But second, I'm very tired. I had a very long night, and I don't want to be here all day. We'll be back to normal streams tomorrow. They'll be longer again. We've got 2 quick things I want to go over today, unless the theory meter fills. Which, reminder, we have a system here. The bottom of the screen are 2 values. If you would like us to skip to a theory segment, if you like the more intellectual content, put the word theory into your super chat. If we get $100 in theory, we skip to a theory segment of 1 to 2 hours. If, however, you prefer the slop, the drama, etc., put the word drama into your super chat. If the drama value goes up to $100, the theory value goes down by 50% of wherever it is at the time. Make sense? If you donate a single super chat of $100, you may pick the next segment. Whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be serious, it can be silly. Doesn't matter what it is. We do it. And that is how it works. By the way, how did people like the crowd control gaming last night? I thought that was actually pretty fun. I'm not going to do call-ins during it, I think. Possibly, we'll see. Because it distracts from the effects. I thought that was pretty fun, personally. But that's just me. I need to get set up with Pikmin. I'm going to do that soon. Okay, before we get into the main stuff. Was watching Destiny because I was bored, found this moment interesting where he says he super regrets his conversations with Peterson and Ben Shapiro. Oh.
Is there a difference between Jenk's position?
Let's see. I'm actually kind of curious about this. When's this from? This is from 3 days ago.
Position now when engaging with the right versus your position.
I disagree. I mean, the idea of a moral agenda or moral issues was coined by the right. They absolutely think they have moral superiority.
Is there a difference between Jenk's position now when engaging with the right versus your position a year or 2 ago? This is why like examples are important. In theory, conceptually, what Jenk is saying is exactly the same as my position a year or 2 ago. But in practice,
okay.
Like keep in mind, like I feel bad about these debates. I feel bad about these debates I feel bad about these debates.
But we just got another one of the hottest years on record. How many times are we going to have another hottest year on record? How many times are we going to have an increase of carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere before we're finally like, okay.
I don't know. And the reason I don't know.
Like, I don't know if I push back enough against these. I don't feel good about these. He should have left this debate crying, and I feel bad about this. And this debate is still a debate. This was contentious enough, even though it wasn't.
Why didn't you push back harder, Stephen?
Really, this was contentious enough that after.
Why didn't you push back? You're aware of it. Why didn't you push back?
Jordan Peterson was like, "Oh, Destiny. Well, that's a guy who just wants to be right all the time, and I don't think I ever want to talk to him again." Oh, right? That's
looking at models, let's
Meth is a hell of a drug, guys.
say like the Scandinavian countries, or I wouldn't
This isn't sped up. This is how fast he's going.
use
what was the hand thing? I want to say the hand thing. I don't remember where the hand thing was. That's the point, though. No, that you come on too aggressively and pushed him away. No, let me. When you're reaching out to other sides, what the goal is that you are taking a big step towards them and then getting them to take a couple of little steps towards you. But if it's always
About 5 inches into Lauren Southern, apparently.
just you taking a big step towards them and then them never taking steps towards you, or them only taking a couple little steps towards you when they've tried so hard to separate you from all of your political ideology so that way they're not actually taking steps towards that political ideology, then it's not working. This is why I was fed up with and irritated with all the conversations, and I lost my mind over the Corey retard, the firefighter getting shot. It's because I realized, like, okay, this is, like, I'm not accomplishing anything going on these shows.
Wait, hang on. So you got, just to be clear, so he got fed up trying to make friends with rightoids so that he could sleep with Lauren Southern and get personally famous. So he decided to start laughing at the murder of a firefighter who bodily defended his family from a mass shooter because he was at a Trump rally. But now he's hand-wringing about the CEO who got shot, who actually put in place policies that got a ton of people's lives destroyed. Like, a lot. His audience is really dumb. You've got to be really, really, really dumb to take this guy seriously. This is a cringe, self-absorbed millionaire loser somehow. It's crazy, isn't it? It genuinely is crazy how you could be the peak of success and a loser, who's now crying because his own lack of discipline is not building him the bridge to mainstream appeal that he thinks he's owed. And his team lost really badly, and he's out of touch, and he can't handle any criticism, and he has to insulate himself from anyone and everyone that might disagree. It's really deeply pathetic. It's deeply pathetic.
If they're saying anything favorable about my ideology, they're separating me from everybody else. So they're just like building rapport with me, and then that's it. Everything else is just me like doing my best to try to be as conciliatory or to frame stuff from my point of view as much in their point of view as possible. It's too irritating.
Yeah, it was all you prostituting yourself out for your own personal gain, and it did nothing for anybody else, and anyone who said otherwise is a pretentious moron. Yeah, we know. Don't worry, Stephen. It's okay. We get it.
Over the left on issues of
The hand thing.
Now this is vaccines.
No, it was like this, and now it's like this.
No. It was like this, and now it's like this.
No, it was like this, and now it's like this.
No. It was like this, and now.
This is retarded.
around babies.
That was actually the only funny thing to come out of that channel in forever. That's retarded. Man is not funny. Man is not funny. Man is not clever. Man is not charismatic anymore. Like, it's just a wreck. Just an absolute wreck. I think Vosh is pulling more viewers than him now as well, is he not? I think some of Destiny's audience is in the DGG community and not interested in him. I think I know a few smart people who watch him from a position of ironism. Yeah, but that's just boring. Like, it's at a certain point, move on. Like, it's too much. No, I think a lot of people are in his community because he's very successfully set up his community as something very active. It's very active on Reddit. It's very active on Discord. And so there's a lot of people there who talk with each other, and it's a meeting place for a lot of people, even if they don't engage at all with Steven himself. But, like, this is just embarrassing. This is an embarrassing thing for him to say. Like, really? You're not pleased with those debates? How can you not be pleased with those debates? That's the best thing there is for you in this life. That's the peak. There is no second step, Steven. Like, it's done. There's no above Jordan Peterson for you. He deigned to talk to you. You had to push really, really, really hard at the cost of years off your life, probably, just to get into a room with these people. That's it. People aren't lining up for you. That's not how this works. I think Vosh is too big now. Vosh is, I don't, yeah. Vosh broke 500k subscribers and gets a crazy number of viewers now. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently somebody called him out on the revenge porn leaks. I want to see that. This was in, this is on Wick of all people. Here, give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. We'll look at that. Sorry, I didn't trim a nail evenly. It was driving me crazy. Everything must be perfectly symmetrical. I'm completely neurotypical. Okay, where is this? Oh, I think it's on Wick TV, actually. Oh, Wick broke 7,000. Good for him. Finally. About damn time. It took him a year to go from 6.9 to 7. Well done. Well done, Wick. Good job. Alas, alas, we had Destiny on. We got 3.6 thousand views, and now we're back to 523. Anywho. Let's get chat off. No, let's not get chat off. This isn't that kind of channel.
Question. Symposium Brain for 20.
Okay. So, Destiny got a super chat in this otherwise very boring debate.
$, says Molina
Let's go back a little bit. Okay, here we go.
to grape the CEO instead of murder because it leaves room for a post-grape CEO redemption arc.
Can I answer that?
Wow, Chrome is just so freaking slow right now. Look at that. That took a solid second to pause. That's crazy.
In a moment, let me get through the rest of these.
Okay.
But yes, keep that in mind. It's an interesting question. Symposium Brain for $20 says Molina recently confirmed that the sex tapes leaked by Destiny's former
Jesus Christ.
girl were shared by Destiny without her
Nice.
consent.
Good one. Nice.
If she has no legal recourse.
And I've got a whole bunch of super chats for you, Wick. Ready?
Okay.
Watch out, Wick. You bit the hand that feeds you.
Did you not?
Wait.
Okay, fair enough.
Wick is a stinky butt. I think that's a #1 super chat. He's
$5.
probably gonna mention-
Wait. No way. Your ex-wife just confirmed that you shared pornographic videos of her without her consent. And you respond with, well, get this, Wick. Wow.
$5 from Origuni. How would the people on the panel like to be treated if accused of murder? Do you want a trial or would you prefer Luigi? $5 smoke. Do you
Yeah, drink your bottle of Soylent Destiny. Just drink it up. Ugh. Man. That's just... Oh, hang on. Why is that cut like that? just chugs the whole thing. Hang on, I got to see this whole sequence one more time. I'm sorry. That was just great.
Didn't need it. I understand that. Yeah, I'm just saying there's a fraction of...
You're not dying of sepsis.
You're not dying of sepsis.
Defending the big businesses and CEO of American people after. Thank you for the $20. $5 from Robert Bates to say emotional or jury trial Rabid Wombat instead of murder because it leaves room to get through the rest of these.
Okay.
But yes, keep that in mind. It's
Okay,
an
here we go.
interesting question.
Here we go.
Symposium Brain for $20 says Molina recently confirmed that the sex tapes leaked by Destiny's former
Jesus Christ.
e-girl were shared by Destiny without her
Nice.
consent.
Good one. Nice.
If she has no legal recourse.
And I've got a whole bunch of super chats for you, Wick. Ready?
Okay. Did you not?
Wick.
Okay, fair enough.
Wick is a stinky butt. I think that's a #1 super chat. He's
$5.
probably Sorry.
$5 from Origuni. How would the people on the panel like to be treated if accused of murder? Do you want a trial or would you prefer Luigi?
Sip,
$5
Steven.
smoke. Do you bandit? The argument that you're stuck with a company because of your job is incorrect.
Just go. Destiny needs to get into his safe, happy place. Guzzling some mysterious, thick liquid out of a dark cavity. Moving on. Oh, God. Is he just not going to say anything?
$5 from Very Late and Tired. The one screaming about car insurance is incredibly wrong.
Well, he's just going to let that sit.
She shouldn't be accusing others of ignorance. It's embarrassing. And then finally, $5. Wick, just tuning in, but wondering if Buckaroo has improved on her arguments on this topic since I debated her on the last healthcare panel. Thank you for the money. Okay, with that, Buckaroo.
He's realizing this is going to be forever. People are never going to stop bringing this up. Not till the end of time.
I'm not
can I answer
wrong.
the super chat?
There's
Oh,
actually
okay.
a specific. There's actually a specific branch of insurance that's used for this purpose.
Just wonderful. Just wonderful, honestly. Is this video reversed? Wick doesn't know how to use Discord. That's what's happening. Alright. Forgive me for eating nuts on screen. Not as many as Steven's eating. Alright. Let's get to the main event. I'm gonna pull up, Whatifalthist. Okay, here we go. Is it going to be the right timestamp? Oh, nice, it is. Sweet. We don't even have to find it. So, we have been on a dark journey, dear friends. Fuck again. This is 1.5 hours, 1 hour and 20 minutes into the second video. This video is 3 hours and 20 minutes long. And there's a third that is 4 hours. And by the way, we haven't hit the crazy part yet, apparently. So we're going to do part 7. And then unless the theory meter fills, I'm probably going to call it. Evil Morty, thanks for the $5 US. Before we start, I just want to say thank you, Lord Jesus, for this meal. Amen. Oh my God. So, this is the tally, okay? Inseminated by his father when he had mercury poisoning. A direct quote. Okay. Ayahuasca trip and light therapy essentially cause him to have resurgent visions of being grossly sexually abused by his mother for years. However, it was also probably in a dream. Goes on an ayahuasca trip, meets God and the devil, who tells him he's the chosen one. God is a Zoomer bro, by the way. And now we come to, oh, he might be the Zodiac Killer. Light therapy, like, what was it called again? It's, EMDR. It's like when they use, apparently they use, like, lights or something on your eyes. It's like an optical thing. EMDR, I mean. Yeah, sorry, light therapy is something different. Light therapy is, like, with a light box or something. He's not the God Killer yet. He becomes the God Killer in the next arc. Wait, I missed the Zodiac thing? He detailed how in Pennsylvania he would walk past a dead body in a vent multiple times. He then talked about how he went on the Appalachian Trail against his family's wishes. They were concerned for his safety. And it happened to be the only time a serial killer was on the Appalachian Trail. What are the odds? Yeah. It's... Look. The point is, Rudyard went to a deep, dark place where man was not meant to tread, okay? So this is part 7, Becoming a Rightist.
My move to Texas was a complete restart in my life. I had wiped the slate clean of all of my previous social networks.
No loose ends.
And my previous goal of being a degenerate influencer seemed disgusting to me now, where I couldn't go back to that kind of hedonic lifestyle, and I was stuck in a sort of rut where I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Next video, he's going to be chugging kratom from a mug.
Next in my life, because I felt lost. My multi-year idea of trying to be as cool and as socially popular as possible, that just failed because I realized there was no society. There was no group consensus because there was no group. And what I saw of Los Angeles just made me feel completely disgusted to my core. To be frank, the first 6 months of my life after moving to Texas was just mentally processing the stuff I said before. I had to live through that. After about 6 months in Texas, I realized I was addicted to comfort and what I was doing now wasn't living.
Oh, it's about 4 letters shorter of what Destiny's addicted to.
In our current society, we have this ideal of living a normal, happy life. And what that means is just being married and being materially comfortable. It really means just having money. But money's not, doesn't make...
I too am addicted to comfort.
Make people happy. I've tested that thesis. So what is living about? And what we're doing now isn't living. I could feel and sense the collapse of society occur in real time.
I'm actually dead as we speak.
Even in Texas, which is one of the better places in America for just socially surviving.
It's not that bad, though. You get used to it.
And life today has this horrifying postmodern terror to it that's difficult to articulate in a real way. I can feel it, and I feel really disgusted with it. The way we live isn't living. We scroll through Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as a
I don't use Instagram.
Substitute for actual human life. Our ancestors, even our parents, had lives. They had kids, families, stable work.
Actually, fun fact, people in ancient Greece had to be paid to go back home because political life was just so much fun for people who had like households and farms and what they had to take care of.
Friends, networks, communities, and hobbies. Today, people just have the internet. The average young person spends 7 to 8 hours besides school on the internet. That's their entire day. We have no hobbies besides these screens. We're completely addicted.
I feel like that's a you problem, Rudyard. I think a lot of us have hobbies and go outside and do things. I really feel like this is an issue that is specifically suffered by your milieu, not by the average person. There is an issue with phone addiction, but that's like because it's easy communication. I don't think people's only hobbies are screens.
It's disgusting. All of us are addicted, and no one's going to call it out. And it's shut down the entire rest of our lives. And
Sideshow Bob attacking television.
And yeah, I just thought a lot about this stuff because I saw the life that had to be handed to me as a Zoomer. And it's so infuriating because I am one of the most successful Zoomers I know. You've seen this from this video. And I have a lot of positive traits, as you also see from this video.
And I have a lot of positive traits, as you'll remember me telling you in this video.
But I was looking at the future of my life, and I was thinking, this can't be the rest of my life. I've tried the hard...
He is like a proper, like, violent narcissist, like I've never seen before. It is crazy. It's literally the Joker in the first Tim Burton Batman movie. I was in the bath one day when I realized why I was destined for greatness. That's what this is.
Artist. I should have been the person who succeeded, but then I look at the Zoomer condition. I'm thinking, there's no way to succeed. This is a rigged game, and there's no way you're going to end up with a happy life unless you try to completely shatter the glass. And I feel...
Do it, Rudyard. Shatter the glass. Burn it all down, child.
I feel I speak for all of society that the period since COVID's been absolutely brutal. I think people aren't honest about this yet, but in a few years, we'll look back on this era of history as a sort of intolerable waiting room.
You'll see. You'll all see.
Where the loneliness and the boredom built up to be horrifying psychic states in their own right. Where the lack of any sort of emotion and the complete boredom and the slow dripping faucet of gradual depression and gradual degradation drove us all crazy. The silence was so deafening that it became the most loud roar. This era of history is just psychologically intolerable, and it's driving us completely crazy. I mean, we don't think we're cutting off children's genitals to change their sex. We're letting in millions of immigrants across the border. We're so sick, it's so obvious.
Rudyard, you have many valid things to complain about and many valid problems. I really do not think, though, that your intense, catastrophic addiction to hard psychedelic drugs is the fault of trans women and immigrants. Call me crazy.
And we've all been getting crazier and progressively poorer. I've been following other political content creators, and most of them have burned out. Look at almost every political content creator at this point. I'm not going to name names, but whatever one you point to is burned out or they're about to burn out. And I could sense that my peers were dying. And so I thought, I need to change the game here for me to win the game. If you're not winning the current game...
He's changing the game. Rudyard's changing the game. The rules are gone.
Change the game. And what older generations are giving Zoomers isn't real living. The lack of any jobs, the lack of social mobility, how 90% of people I know are single, the complete loneliness, nihilism, and alienation. And you know I can see and feel you even if you can't.
Rudyard, I'm going to ask you this once. Please... stop seeing and feeling me through the screen. I'm just so uncomfortable. Chat, I want you to look Rudy right in the eyes and you tell him, Rudy, don't feel me.
I can see your suffering every day, and I find it unbearable.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Do anything to help you. I'm sorry how much pain you're in, and you might say I'm projecting, which I partly am.
His astral consciousness into yours. Yes, we've you explained that to us, Rudyard.
Because that's just how empathy works. You project a little, but I know you're suffering. It's obvious in your every action.
You're looking at a camera, sir. You know where you're not. You're looking at a camera, Rudyard. No, he's looking at the people tied up behind the camera. My mistake. And some you are. Thanks for the 10 gifted memberships. Much appreciated.
And you're also scared and lonely. You don't believe in anything. You don't have a connection to God. You have no reason to live.
But I do have a connection to God, Rudyard. I'm watching you this very moment.
And is life really just staring at a screen? That's no way for a man to live.
Bless you for telling us this on YouTube.
Did my ancestors kill, die, and fuck for all this?
That's a good, editor. That's a good one for the intro. That's a good one. Did my ancestors kill, die, and fuck for all this? I had all this sex, and for what?
Did my ancestors kill, die, and fuck for all of this? My financial situation got worse over this time period, where I made what should have been an innocuous error, where I posted my second podcast on the...
He was forced to essay his sister. We don't actually know that. Yeah, here's the thing you need to understand. This is very important for when he brings up sexual assault allegations against people. His story of how he came to the knowledge of it makes it intrinsically untrustworthy. It is very important when someone comes to you privately with a claim of having been sexually assaulted that you treat them as if they are telling the truth, so that they are encouraged and guided to seek help and justice if possible. Okay? That's your job. However, when somebody makes a public accusation, you have to treat it differently, because now popular opinion is being brought to bear like a court of law. In addition to this, this is the story of how Rudyard learned that he was sexually assaulted. Did a fuckload of drugs and suddenly had an elaborate and hyper-specific account of it afterwards, which he then afterwards claims he had before. So, he is an unreliable narrator, not a liar. This is very important. I do not believe that Rudyard is lying. Rudyard has severe brain damage from the drugs he's taken. That's what I think is going on. I think he's actually just gone. I think he's taken a lot more than a single trip of ayahuasca, and God knows what that actually was. And we know that in the third video, he has a giant, very admirable octopus mug from which he is chugging kratom. So here's the thing, and some people doubted it was kratom for this reason, and this is possible. Kratom, I don't know from personal experience, but I've spoken to people and I've read about it, is extraordinarily unpleasant tasting. It is very, very bitter. It is very not nice. Okay? So there's two possibilities. Either what he's drinking, there's three possibilities. He's drinking something that is a mixture with kratom in it in a very small dose that has some kind of flavoring, so it's sort of passable. That's one. He's not drinking kratom at all. That's two. Or three, he drinks it so much that the flavor doesn't bother him anymore. And when I weigh these three, I consider... This is a man who claimed to have literally entered the spirit world and talked to God as a Zoomer bro. God being the Zoomer bro in this case. This is a person who actively claims that he can feel your emotions through the screen, you the viewer. I think this guy is just doing a shit ton of drugs. Like, more than the average human can conceive. That's what I think is happening. I think he was taken out by a bunch of dumb tech bros to go get high. I think they gave him a bunch of shit because they thought it'd be cool and funny. And I think he got hooked on stuff that he didn't know how to deal with. Not that necessarily anybody knows how to deal with it well. Because that's what the cool people did in his circle. I think that's what happened. Anyways, we're now going to go from this to learning about how he became a rightist.
Main channel. And I thought YouTube has a tab that makes it processed by the algorithm as a podcast. And then what happened...
It could be an early sign of psychosis. An early sign of psychosis. I think we're in full-blown psychosis at this point. I don't think Rudyard is in... I don't think Rudyard is in charge.
Is that it tanked my position in the algorithm because I got some videos with 50,000 views, other videos with 500,000 views. So 50,000 videos killed my position in the algorithm for a year. And sponsors pulled out for a long time. And that was a tiny error. I kept on trying different strategies, and I kept on trying to figure out what the issue was with YouTube. So that's why I did so much experimentation with.
This is, by the way, if you get, here's some amateur wealthy person advice. I'm not wealthy. I've never been wealthy in my life, but here's some advice that seems like common sense to me. If you come into a large amount of money and you do not thoroughly understand the process by which that money came to you, do not treat it as a limitless resource and accustom yourself to exhausting it regularly enough that if that money were to disappear, you would not have a plan. Don't do that, because this guy is under the same kind of stress that someone who has to struggle to make rent makes when he's a millionaire. Because all of a sudden he has a lifestyle. He has tastes. He has bills that are very, very, very high. He has employees that are paid a lot. And what does he do if that money dries up? The fact of the matter is, he doesn't know. He doesn't know why some videos do well. He wouldn't know why all of his videos stopped doing well if they did. There are a lot of channels that have plus 100,000 subscribers that get hundreds of views per video. That's a thing. I look at that and I'm like, whew, okay. Tread lightly. Right?
With the algorithm last year. And it's been crazy where I used to be pretty wealthy, and now it's gotten significantly worse where the leftist ad block against conservatives cannot be overstated. Where
the leftist ad block against conservatives. The leftist ad block against conservatives. That is fascinating.
As of now, 90% of ad dollars are controlled by leftists to be used explicitly against conservatives.
Hey, put your hands up if you got a PragerU ad at the beginning of this. I can't stop right-wing advertisements from showing up on my channel. It's crazy. I don't know what planet this guy's on. Leftist. What leftist advertising? I see none. Leftist ad block? What leftist ad block? If anything, the consensus appears to be that YouTube and Twitch and all these places, not Twitch so much, but Twitter, X now, have all been extremely beneficial for the right specifically. They've specifically funneled people towards right-wing content. It's been the complete opposite.
So conservatives fight for the final 10%, which is why a lot of my advertisers are people from the Balkans or Eastern Europe.
You don't say, Rudyard. Really? Really? No. Where in Eastern... You want to specify? Where in Eastern Europe, Rudyard? Wait, he's doing the Soros Bucks bit? Yeah. Poor Putin Bucks over here.
Or Asia or something like that. Because they don't feel any of our current qualms. From what I can tell, and I'm probably getting these numbers wrong, but leftist content creators make 5 times as much money per view as I do.
In what planet? What? What?
And correct me if that's incorrect.
That's very incorrect. You need to drink more. You need to drink more of that stuff in your mug. You're not at the. Your vibration level's too low.
But it's a huge discrepancy, and it's just infuriating to me on a profound level that we don't live in.
Leftist creators are generally drowning, by the way, like drowning. It is exceptionally. There's a reason why nobody grifts left. There are no big content creators who have scandals of, oh, he's becoming too progressive. It's not a thing. No, the scandal is, this is the current big scandal right now, okay? You got MAGA Republicans on the one side, you got Elon Musk on the other. And these guys hate Indians and want them out of the country, and these guys, the Elon Musk guys, hate Indians and want a slave labor force. That's the scandal on the right. And on the left it's oh, you're financially drowning or you're grifting rightwards. That's it.
A capitalist or a meritocratic society.
Which, by the way, is an excellent time to point out that if you appreciate what I do and you want to help support the channel, I see a ton of white names in chat. I like memberships. Memberships are great. I have them at the lowest possible value so I can get as many as possible. I like seeing green names in my chat that can post wicks and duck nanas. So, if you like what I do and you want to help support this horrible, horrible venture upon which I've embarked, you know what to do. 2-bit dork needs to be green again. Yes, indeed.
Because of my racial type and my skin and my sex, as well as my political views, which are the reasonable political opinions for my people's survival, I am blocked out of all society. University, most.
But you dropped out of you weren't blocked out of university. You just didn't go.
Jobs won't hire me because I'm conservative.
Wait. What jobs won't hire you? Slow down. What jobs won't hire you?
Consulting positions.
Why consult on what? You have no education. Evil Morty, thanks for the $5 for the new Lambo. I'm not getting the Lambo. I'm going to save up for a little longer and get a Bugatti. Is Bugatti more expensive than a Lambo? I don't know.
Sex, as well as my political views, which are the reasonable political opinions for my people's survival, I am blocked out of all society. University, most jobs won't hire me because I'm conservative.
He doesn't mean university jobs, does he? Surely. Most jobs will hire you if you're conservative. What is he talking about? There is a massive, desperate need for food service workers right now, Rudyard. You can do that. Thank you. I'm just here to watch. Can't see your whole name. I apologize for the 5 gifted memberships. Very much appreciated.
Consulting positions.
Why? Who's gonna pay Rudyard to consult? What? Why? You have no education. You have no specialty. What? A YouTube consultant? Like what's why? Why would anybody want to consult you? I'm a consulting YouTuber.
And
I've talked to God.
Every single bureaucratic association is blocking out conservatives and young white men. And it's just completely infuriating because there's nothing I can do about it because I'm trying my best. I'm trying a variety of different things. And what am I supposed to do? Almost everyone I know and most of my friends are...
Retire. You're a millionaire. Stop trying. Go get therapy.
Very intelligent, successful people are unemployed or...
I want you to listen to that again, okay? Just listen to that.
Every single bureaucratic association is blocking out conservatives and young white men. And it's just completely infuriating because there's nothing I can do about it because I'm trying my best. I'm trying a variety of different things. And what am I supposed to do? Almost everyone I know, and most of my friends are very intelligent, successful people, are unemployed.
Most of his friends are very intelligent and successful people, and they're unemployed. Successfully unemployed, yes. highly successful in the sense they get successfully high. Ooh. Ooh.
Or they're self-employed, working. Almost no one I know is doing well. And keep in mind, I'm a relatively large YouTuber. The people I hang with are not normal people in most cases. But
right, so why are you trying to make this sound like it's supposed to be relatable?
everyone I know is fucked, and it's completely disgusting. And
Yeah, but that's because you hang around fucked people.
I have loads of very smart, intrepid, capable friends who have been unemployed for over a year because there's no jobs.
No, it's because they're rich and they don't need to be employed, Rudyard. That's why they're also successful. Remember? I don't think you'd be hanging out with them if they weren't.
You cannot overstate how much the economy is destroying Zoomers. And this
because you know what you can't be if you have no employment unless you also already have a ton of money is successful. I also think it's kind of a farce to call it successful if you're just living off of your family's money, but leaving that aside, like, at least he isn't trying to hang out with virgins. I mean, he's probably trying.
shouldn't be happening. I have a larger audience than lots of TV stations. I have 2 to 6 million independent viewers a month.
Oh. That's surprisingly little, actually.
That's independent, different people. Or it might, the numbers might, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but
How can I correct if you're wrong? These are your analytics, Rudyard. I don't see your analytics.
that's what I see from my YouTube analytics. And sometimes it goes to 1.5. But I'm not rich anymore, and I have to be conservative with my spending. I really dislike it because I look at TV stations that have far lower viewership. They get tens of millions of dollars. I know lots of sponsorships in tech for audiences 1/10.
If you have to hustle to get wealthy, and you don't put that money towards not having to hustle, you're a moron. Like, oh my god. I hate watching sometimes. I'm going to level with you, okay? I'm going to be real. I've done a lot of Whatifalthist content because it's easy, because it's like, it's nutso and it's politics themed, so it's like, it's thematically appropriate for this channel. I hate watching Whatifalthist videos on stream so much. They are repetitive. They never evolve. It's always the same thing. The only enjoyable part is looking for the insane typos in the frantically written text blocks that he sometimes overlays on screen. Which now I'm not even sure are him, because it appears like he hires somebody else to do these inserts and he just records over stock footage. I hate his content so much. It's not because it's bad, it's because it's boring bad. It's too long and it's boring. It's a combination of saying absolutely nothing on the basis of nothing just for clicks really fast, while also being pretentious enough to think he's saying something profound, but taking so long to do it that it's just like, it's like a dentist drill in your brain.
My size that make 3 times as much per deal. I know lots of leftist creators making 3 times as much deal as I do.
3 times as much deal? They're making 3 times as much deal as he is. Where can I make this much deal, guys?
And because conservatives are just blocked out. And I find it beyond infuriating is to keep on
Who's he talking about?
trying all these things in the algorithm. I keep on trying all these schemes. And my only expense is my one employee, my manager, who I pay $70K a year, and my...
You're wealthy and you're paying your manager who handles all of your emails and edits all of your videos. You're paying him $70K a year, you stingy bastard. That is pathetic. That is pathetic. $70K a year. This guy is being fucking taken advantage of. That's nothing. $70K a year? Really? That must be a lot of money for someone whose only experience working is living with his parents and working at a grocery store. But that's not a lot of money. That's not enough. That's 70K is a fuck ton of money. It is not a fuck ton of money. It is not a fuck ton of money. And it's a lot of money for me, but that's not a lot of money. Given how much this guy was pulling, that's 70K is 70K is like an entry-level professional job in a lot of places. It's like, yeah. It's solid middle class if you have a second salary.
Rent. I haven't gone on vacation in over a year, for example, and I've tried like 20 different schemes, and
in most big cities you can't afford to live, certainly not live well, off of 70K a year.
My financial situation got bad enough where I'm basically broke now, where I had to ask my dad for
70K just editing videos is good. Oh, it is good. No, don't get me wrong. Good deal for him. He should take it. No, the thing is, for Rudyard to be paying this guy only 70K when it appears he's kind of doing the lion's share of the work. The maps are his. He made the maps. Rudyard's not making the maps. He's making all the stuff that populates that video. Rudyard's just having a stream of consciousness, kratom-fueled trip. Like, I don't think he's making... I would bet he's not making even a tenth of what the channel's pulling.
Money. And do you understand how difficult that is? I swore an oath when I was 16 to him over stuff with Jennifer that I would never ask him for money or ask him for something. And if you're my employee or if you're an employee or my landlord, you will 110% be paid. I'm already raising money right now. For the thing you'll see at the end of this video.
What?
But I just find it deeply infuriating because there's no...
Hang on, wait, I need to see what he's talking
I'm
about
already
here.
If you're an employee, Jennifer, and do you understand how difficult enough where I'm basically broke now? And I've tried like 20 different schemes, and my financial situation got bad enough where I'm basically broke now.
How is that possible? Look, unless he's deep in debt, like deep in debt. Gambling. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Gambling. That's what happened to DSP, wasn't it? DSP, very successful YouTuber. Destroyed his finances with gambling. Just not even gambling. Like I think he spent like thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars on like a fantasy wrestling game on his phone. Did he get demonetized? I don't think so. I don't think he got demonetized. Has he ever complained about being demonetized? I haven't heard anything about his channel being demonetized.
I had to ask my dad for money. And do you understand how difficult that is? I swore an oath when I was 16 to him over stuff with Jennifer that I would never ask him for money.
Goes on crazed rant about his mother, asks dad for money. Interesting coincidence.
Or ask him for something. And if you're my employee or if you're an employee or my landlord, you will 110% be paid. I'm already raising money right now. For the thing you'll see at the end of this video. But I just find it deeply infuriating because there's no social mobility. And the problem is we've hollowed out all of life so that the only thing we have in life is screens. We got
the reason for Whatifalthist being broke is television. It's your screens and your phones. That's the problem. You're all watching your screens too much. You know, the thing he wouldn't have a job without.
Got rid of community. We got rid of religion. We got rid of marriage. We got rid of the nation. We got rid of social clubs. We got rid of...
Got rid of social clubs. What is that face? What's that face he's making? Hey, editor. Consider highlighting this at some point. That is an interesting expression. I'm not sure what I'd call that.
everything. And so we just stare at screens. And so even if you're wealthy or successful, you're still staring at a fucking screen. And this is what we're stuck here with. I'm also pretty
Your job is making YouTube videos. Of course you're staring at a screen.
clear I'm shadow banned. I say that since there are certain growth curves I see in videos because I study the algorithm. I've been doing this for a decade, where the video goes up and then the growth angle collapses, which is not mathematically what should be happening. And YouTube has a tremendous amount of records for shadow banning conservatives.
Every single one of his videos is getting multiple hundreds of thousands of views within days. What is he talking about? Look at this. Four days ago, 138,000. Let's see. Whole month between videos, though. Whole month between videos is bureaucracy killing civilization. You had an hour of content in a month. 2 months ago, hour of content. 2 months ago, oh, 38 minutes, there we go. 3 months ago, hour and a half of content. Like, here's a possibility. Almost 1 million views. All of these are going above 200,000 views. Many are going close to 1 million views. Almost 1 million views. Almost 1 million views. Here's what I think is more likely. What if you're lazy? What if you got a bunch of money, got addicted to drugs, and just stopped producing? Maybe only making one video a month because you thought, oh, this all just sells itself now. I don't need to do any work anymore. It's over. I'm done. And you didn't discipline yourself after that. You didn't lower your spending. You didn't cut off outflows of revenue that you couldn't sustain if you had lowered your output. And Tate Ethics, no, you were all wrong. He shares his collection of expensive sword items later. He calls himself a collector. That's like a few $1,000s at most. That doesn't matter. Stop spamming that. I get it. No, him collecting swords does not account for. Excuse me. Sorry. Him collecting swords does not account for his financial situation. Expensive swords, like really expensive ones, $20,000, $30,000, maybe. That's not it. That's not it. Swords are not crazy expensive. It's not the swords. That'd be as cool as that would be. He's not losing all of his money on swords. I'm sorry.
This is something that we have a lot of evidence for, and it's just something you see in every single major left-wing social media site. And
it's the $1 million swords, yeah, exactly.
And I have significantly more subscribers than I had.
Unless he has a Hattori Hanzo, yes.
Had before. But I'm making less money off ads. I'm making less money off sponsorships, where I was making significantly more money 3 years ago and 2 years ago when I had a third of my current subscribers. That's how crazy this is. And we know YouTube's parent company, Google, the people who made Gemini, they're incredibly politically biased. And they have loads of proof for shadow banning already. This is something we know happens to an insane degree. Remember when Trump was shot in the front page of Google, where they had no news coming up in the front page about Trump getting shot. Within hours of Trump getting 3 years ago and 2 years ago when I had a third of my current subscribers. That's how crazy this is. And we know YouTube's parent company, Google, the people who made Gemini, they're incredibly politically biased. And they have loads of proof for shadow banning already. This is something we know happens to an insane degree. Remember when Trump was shot in the front page of Google?
Remember when Trump was shot in the front page of Google?
Where they had no news coming up in the front page.
Remember when Trump was shot on the front page of Google, where they had no news about Trump getting shot on the front page?
About Trump getting shot. within hours of Trump getting shot. They're doing it that much. That summer was brutally hot, and I was stuck at home. My PTSD was really bad, and I was in excruciating physical pain all the time.
Wait, why is he talking incoherently? Drugs. Drugs.
Was also still in the process of emotionally remembering everything I said before. People often ask me, Rudyard, how did you do all this stuff in your life while suffering all
the hot PTSD summer of the soul,
all the pain? The answer to that question is I realized I needed something grander to scale myself against to not kill myself. The only thing that felt big enough to balance out the trauma was glory and honor. The quiet family life I wanted in high school wasn't enough for me anymore. My relationship with my father,
he needs glory and honor,
got much better over this time period, is now at the best point ever as long as I've known him, where after I moved down to Texas, we started to talk to each other more and empathize with each other. And there were a handful of points where I had a PTSD attack in front of him, where he was very empathetic about it and tried to help me as much as he could and understand it. And he also, I also told him about everything that happened in my childhood with my mom and all that stuff, and he was very accepting. And he's also really excited about my other projects. And I told him about this video. I showed it to him, and it's cool. It's nice when your life gets better.
He's very accepting that you blamed all of your childhood abuse on your mother. And every criminal act that he was suspected of on your mother while he was mysteriously out of the picture the entire time. You don't say. Really. He was fine with that. Really? No. Surely not no. That doesn't make any sense. None of this fits.
As I gradually healed, I started to wonder what I actually wanted out of life. And after a bunch of different short realizations, I came to the conclusion that I wanted to...
That was like, whew, I'm in the clear. Yeah, no kidding.
...go as hard as possible. And I have various connections across conservative...
Oh, did your dad report it? Reporting the sex crimes against you and your sister? No? No? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think so. Fascinating.
Media, and I keep a pulse on what's going on in...
Maybe he encouraged you not to report it. Maybe there'd be no point. In his words.
...different areas. I started piecing together a picture in which I realized conservatism was an almost all complete anarchy, where no one was in charge, no one had a concept what was happening, no one had a concept what to...
No one's in charge of conservatism. Whatever will we do?
...to do about it, or even the barometers of how to relate to it, or parameters. The whole field seems to be in collapse, with very few figures willing to take responsibility for conservative culture itself. It's just Trump being a Chad holding stuff up, and then nothing else. You guys don't know what you believe, you don't know what your direction is, you don't know how to relate to it, you don't know how to talk to young people. And I realized conservative culture, just the underlying nature, besides just winning elections, is just completely dead. And I don't know what's happening. And I saw this with a lot of the creative tension that conservatism has. Because I noticed with conservatism, it has lots of very smart and very capable people. Whenever I go on Twitter, I'm shocked at the level of IQ, which is hard to believe for Twitter, but there's a lot of smart stuff on Twitter. I'm shocked by the direction of the people, especially as I met more of them in person. I thought these were incredibly admirable people, and there's so much stuff going on here, and there's so much dough to play with. And then I realized no one wanted to take advantage of this. No one was looking to lead the right. No one was looking to do cool stuff. No one was looking for the future of conservatism or how cultural ideas in the past related to conservatism.
This is funny. Oh, that's funny. Sorry, someone just sent me. Apparently, Westside Tyler's been watching my channel. He's doing the full Rudyard thing as well. That's funny.
And that, again, really, really shocked me, that there's just this weird thing that I call high schoolism, because in almost every single industry I've studied in America, it's run like high school, where
Yeah, that's life. Welcome to adulthood.
there's pre-established cliques out who's cool and who's not cool. It's done for very arbitrary reasons, relating often to corruption or to friends of friends or to college. And it's just incredible incompetence. And things are done for not very rational reasons, with the bureaucracy crushing everything. And I found this with the military-industrial complex.
You found this with the military-industrial complex. The military-industrial complex is full of cliques, guys.
Found this with academia.
But you didn't go into academia. You didn't find this with academia. You never went in. Your education ended at high school.
Found this with the tech parts of the tech industry. Another part of the tech industry is
the cliques in the tech industry are responsible for where you're at right now. These are the people who promoted you right here.
really
These are the people who like you.
and really capable. And just almost every single industry I could see in America seemed like it was high school. And that shocked me, because it was making us so weak and it was so innately silly. And this is why Hollywood makes terrible movies. It's not about making a movie, it's about the high school relationship, so who gets to profit off it. And we're just...
Guys. Hollywood is about making money. Oh my God. It's all so clear now. It's not about the art at all.
So corrupt, and we don't notice. And modern society seems like a ship that's sinking, and no one noticed. It's horrible. How do you folks not see this? I have a funny story I've got to interject here, where I met a girl who was part of a eugenics organization. She was younger than me, and she went to Harvard.
Did Lauren Southern go to Harvard? I need the 6 degrees of separation to be fewer degrees.
Personally do not support eugenics, but met through...
But you kind of do, though.
Through a friend of a friend. And she proclaimed herself to be my side chick, where she said her goal was to... she wanted to be in a polygamous relationship with a great man.
Rudyard. Never trust a eugenicist woman who says she's interested in you.
And, apparently I had good genetics in her worldview. So I didn't have another girl at the point, but I rolled with the side chick thing because she was kind of nuts. And there's some crazy stories there, but I cut her after a few months because she was disrespecting me too much, and she wasn't easy to deal with. This is my biggest thing with girls. I want you to be passively pleasant enough that I enjoy the act of being with you. And my current issue with dating is I can get lost.
His issue with dating is that, he just can't... There's just so few geishas in modern America.
Lots of women who I can sleep with. It's stuff like this people get super sensitive about because there's a degree of envy and there's a degree of, are you lying? But my thing is it's relatively easy for me to get women to sleep with. And it's very difficult to find women I respect enough that I would marry her or even date her, because that involves me seeing her on a semi-regular basis. And I've had multiple times...
Rudyard, that's because you're paying for escorts. You are paying for escorts. You are paying to sleep with people whose primary source of income is being paid to sleep with people. Nobody is settling with you for your personality. They see somebody who they are told from other people has a lot of money, because you don't look like you have a lot of money, and they quickly discover that you're crazy and unhinged, and you are not long for this world.
In the past, where I've gone out with girls for longer than a short period, but I'm just not in a place where just the passive quality of person, like, do you not lie? Are you nice to me? Do you treat me with respect? Do you not insult me? These are just the basics. And then most young women I meet, and again, I've had like sample size of dozens, they just can't pass the basic test. I don't know what to tell you. But so I was going to Kurt Doolittle's conference, and then I stayed at her dorm in Harvard for a few days, and I interviewed a lot of kids at Harvard because I was starting the OCD at this point, which is the organization I'm going to form. So I was looking for...
He was starting the OCD.
Basically strapping young, smart guys, and I thought Harvard would have a lot of cool talent, but everyone there was fucking lame. Where we, Merrick and I, we were hanging out at the dorm, and we just grabbed the bottle of vodka, and my thing is I drink a double shot of vodka whenever I start drinking to loosen myself up.
You 2 shots of vodka to start. Okay, rampant alcoholism will add to the mix.
And the kid's like, no, you can't have our vodka. And like,
listen, I like alcohol. I think you know I like alcohol. If I tell you 2 shots of vodka to start is a lot, you can take that to the bank.
we'll pay you for the vodka. And they said no. And then the guys didn't like that I was staying with her. And so they tried to kick me out of the dorm with this arbitrary meeting. Like, you have to do meeting. And we were just chilling, and people recognized who I am. And they said, oh yeah, you're Rudyard. You'll start asking me questions. And they just didn't like that we had chill vibes because everyone there was lame.
I really don't think you had chill vibes, Rudyard.
Everyone there at Harvard is just a constant overthinker. I'm thinking, these men...
Well, I don't think he's lying. I think he's stupid. I think he's really stupid. I think he went into a dorm room, was completely fucking obnoxious. And they wanted him to go. And it sounds like he was just around their dorm, just drunk out of his mind. He's totally an inside joke in that dorm. Now, they probably have an informal name. They probably named it the Rudyard Room. But, you know, they're from Harvard, so a little bit, it's the Kipling Room, okay? They distance it a tiny bit.
Men can't do shit. They can't run a fucking brewery, let alone run a country.
You mean a distillery? They can't run a... This is a big point of competence for him. Can you make moonshine in your garage? If you can't make moonshine in your garage, you can't run a country. Why would they also be running a country? They're college students. They're not running for office.
How are they going to fight in war? How are they going to lead companies? How are they going to lead men?
Have you ever fought in war or led companies? I'm pretty sure your one time outdoors was on the Appalachian Trail and you had to get driven home by your daddy-o because you were drinking deer shit water.
How are they going to invent technology when it's a bunch of fucking paper pushers? These people can't do shit.
Yeah, those people at Harvard, morons.
I literally see better talent in my hometown with Mike from Wawa. I would take Mike from Wawa over Harvard talent.
What is Mike from Wawa? What does that mean?
It's crazy. And Merrick and I were talking about it, and we're talking mutual friends, and Merrick keeps saying, Rudyard, when he says these things, it's even worse than you imagine. I believed Rudyard was overstating it, but he's understating the case, actually. And
you're an educated grocery store friend who makes your very bad risk maps in Microsoft Paint agrees with you about the dumb Harvard students? Wow. Well, I guess it must be so then.
It was just ridiculous. And I thought, this is America's elite. These are the people who are going to get the good jobs.
Wawa's a gas station? It's the wise man running the gas station.
And the Harvard kids
Looks like Morgan Freeman for some reason.
are fucked. I talked to them. They're anxious. Apparently no one dates there. Apparently they
Nobody dates at Harvard. But hopefully because they're doing Harvard stuff because they're at a university to get educated and get a job.
Don't have strong sense of identity. They don't believe in anything. If you're Christian, that's taboo for them.
They have a divinity school. It's called Harvard Divinity School. It's famous. It's on campus. You can literally go to seminary at Harvard. Look. It's a nice building, actually. Check this out. Harvard Divinity School. Right there. Boom. Very nice.
Or it's socially kind of ostracized to be Christian, ostracized to be conservative. People don't have broadband knowledge because when I study people, I assess them for a variety of traits for my organization.
Are you a Scientologist, Rudyard?
I assess for your sentience. I assess for your grit. I assess for your liquid intelligence.
Rudyard, something tells me you're not the man to be assessing other people for their liquid intelligence.
Which is your ability to have a generalized intelligence that can be processed in a sub-variety of different things.
That's not how that works.
I assess... Oh, I forgot to say, sentience is your ability to separate yourself from your environment.
No, sentience has to do with your self-awareness as a decision-making subject in the world.
And to have a degree of self-awareness enough to realize if you were the kind of person you were, what would be the most advantageous decision you could make. So sentience is a third-point perspective where you perceive...
No, sentience isn't third-point perspective. Sentience is... There are animals that clearly don't have a third-point perspective that exhibit signs of sentience. It's like... It's if you have... like emotional and cognitive relationships between individuals that sort of see out and it's a fuzzy concept, but it's not. I even misspoke when I said it has to do with knowing yourself as a subject, because it doesn't.
Perceive yourself as the summation of many others having empathy for you, rather than just purely yourself or how God or how others see you. I assess people for sentience the most. But as I said, sentience, liquid intelligence, grit, are you socially good to talk to? Are you...
Polarman says, as a young college student, I will say I can see why he may have this view about religion being taboo. Maybe not for Harvard, but overall people are less Christian/religious. I'm going to tell you something, though, as someone who is a conservative Christian in college. A lot of the time, the reason why people appear to be unaccepting of Christians or religious people in college is because a lot of Christian conservatives are raised to be assholes to everybody else. And so they don't get a very nice reception because they're extraordinarily disrespectful to other people. Just FYI.
Awkward or cringe? Do you seem to have a moral compass? Do you believe in anything? Do you have at least one area of extensive knowledge that demonstrates dedication into a certain topic?
Well, they're in Harvard, so I would assume so. Colonel J, thanks for the $5. Happy New Year's, Mr. Sunday, and if I may add, you were looking quite saucy today. I hope that's a good kind of saucy and I don't just look wet. Thank you.
Do you have a history of success in different fields? Do you have...
They're in Harvard, Rudyard. They're in Harvard. You didn't get into community college, so you don't know this, but it's hard to get into Harvard. Just FYI. Unless you're unemployed and successful in the way your friends are.
Because success in multiple fields is very powerful because it shows an incredible level of talent. Someone like Elon Musk, who's successful in companies, a wide variety of industries.
Oh my god. I don't know if you've been keeping up, Rudyard, but you know all those immigrants that ruined your employment opportunities? You specifically, apparently. Yeah, you and Elon don't see eye to eye on that. Just so you know. Just FYI. Just saying. Imagine if this is why he took those videos down. Actually, that's a possibility. I wonder if the glazing Elon is why. I wonder if glazing Elon Musk is why he took this down. I doubt it. The rest of it was crazy. But that'd be funny, though. Because remember, he left the first video up. The video where he ends up talking about going to hell and talking to the devil, who was kind of a cool guy. And they talked to God, who was a Zoomer bro. And they said, Rudyard, you are the chosen one.
The ability to not have talent outside a single industry is super powerful.
The ability to not have talent outside of a single industry?
And it's so hard to do.
The ability to have talent, but to not have talent outside of...
And also, do you demonstrate responsibility and competency in your daily life? This is basically a lot of the stuff I assess people for. I have more, but I won't get into that.
You couldn't get along with people in a Harvard dorm. Like, that's how unable you are to navigate basic social scenarios.
This is a system. You guys are going to love the system.
You literally could not hold your own in a lounge.
I've made with my buddies about how to assess people's talent. We'll get to more of that later. That becomes a bigger subplot later, I believe.
Oh boy.
But none of the Harvard people could do shit. It was so crazy. And I was talking to a Harvard professor.
Well, I'm perplexed as to what they would have to perform to be able to do shit in his estimation.
And I could sense that he was a good man, and he was a man that I can respect. And so I won't say the name.
He had a beard, a big, respectable, manly beard. And I thought this man could take me under his wing and teach me how to wield a sword in the woods.
Or any of that stuff. But I was talking to him about human sciences. And he said, I only look at stuff with data. If there's not data attached to it, I refuse to look at an idea. And I said, you've cut out 85% of human thinking. Human thinking operates through a combination of intuition, holistic understandings, seeing a moving system occur at once, comparisons to the past. So if you're only looking at data, you lose the ability to process human life itself. And that was what I thought talking to Harvard, talking to different people there, that these people have incredible tunnel vision and they can't see their whole environment, and they had no clue at all what's happening. The American elite has no idea how much normal people are suffering or how things are falling apart. They have no clue about your struggles. It's really, really scary. And furthermore, they're completely glued out of this, where people...
Jane Fleas, Texas, thanks for the $4.99. Appreciate it.
And I don't want to smear the people I saw in Harvard with this, but people who are part of the World Economic Forum agenda, they're just completely disconnected from their environments. They have no clue what's happening. They can't tell you any good stuff. And they are evil.
They can't tell you any good stuff at Harvard.
But they are also stupid. And I would like to state this again, because I think about a lot of philosophical and religious concepts. And I realize no one in the ruling class has ever thought about this stuff. No one in the ruling class thinks about comparing Aristotle's model of religion to the...
Aristotle doesn't have a model of religion. The idea of religion wasn't invented then.
A modernist, Darwinistic worldview, while integrating it with Eastern ideas. No one thinks about this. This really shocked me, because I went around and I've met a lot of people in America's elite and backgrounds in military politics. I realized no one was thinking about this stuff, and the elite had completely checked out and failed.
Nobody was cool and wanted to debate me in their bedroom at Harvard, is what I'm reading here. Dorms are where people sleep, guys. Just so you know, that's their function. It's so that when you go to college, you can rent a place on campus, so you don't have to bus multiple times a day to get to and from where you're probably going to school for anywhere between 5 and 12 hours. That's what dorms are for. This asshole comes in with his YouTube channel and tries to debate bro people in their bedrooms. And they're like, look, getting shit-faced drunk. They're like, look, I got class at 6 a.m. I can't deal with this shit. Get this weirdo out of my room. Okay.
It's just scary. Another story. When I was at Harvard, I was at a cafe because I didn't get much sleep the night before. So I went to a cafe early that morning at Dunkin' Donuts. And I was just sitting there drinking coffee. And I was exhausted. Was barely conscious.
Yeah, that's what happens when you take multiple shots of vodka every single day of your life as a prelude to drinking.
And then two relatively attractive women sat down in the seat next to me. And
have a seat here, you relatively attractive women.
they're surrounded by the Harvard Comedy Club. And they were trolling me. And this is why Northeasterners have no manners. What they did was objectively rude and not cool. But they were trying to mock me and berate me. And they open your bag, kid, because I use Mexican artisanal bags. I use leather artisanal Mexican bags. So I showed them the bag, like, who are you? I told them about my life. I told them the stuff I had done.
The stuff he had done. I told these relatively attractive women the stuff I have done.
About all those things. And they were super impressed at the end. They started...
I talked about the stuff I have done while I showed them the contents of my artisanal bag.
Started out with roasting me. And then at the end, they were congratulating me because I was showing them how I was carrying an Esteban cigar, which is one of my favorite brands, next to JFC Fuller's History of Western Warfare, next to the leather bag. And with each story, I was telling them more about my life. And at the end, they said, we're so glad.
Is he slurring his words? This man is very intoxicated right now. You have to understand, he published these videos one after the other over a short period of time. He claims he did these over the course of weeks. I don't think so. I think he was sweating through his shirts and he changed them midway through. I think these were all done over the span of a manic 24 hours. That's what I think happened. I think he took a shit ton of something, and it just goes on and on as he goes. I think that's what's happening. I think it's oh my god, it's happening to me. I gotta lay off the sauce for a little bit. I think he took a bunch of stimulants and then took a bunch of things that were something else, and it just went. He just went on a journey.
Glad we were in a timeline where we got to meet you. Thanks, Harvard Comedy Club. I forgot to say this, so I'll throw it in later. But guys at the Harvard Humanities Department noticed me. They knew I was Whatifalthist, and they brought me around among the staffers, and they were fans, and they were all supportive. And I thought, we have already won the culture war. When Harvard staffers watch right-wing YouTubers and are sympathetic, and they're sympathetic with my worldview, we have already won.
I thought Harvard was biased against the left and was full of layabout losers who can't do anything, who hate Christianity and conservatism. But now you've already won the culture war because Harvard administrators, by the way, this is what's terrifying. These pedophiles of the soul, these right-wing people in positions of power, influence, and wealth who pick out very unwell people like Rudyard because, look, here's a successful person who makes media for mental children who is very popular that agrees with us. These people groom people like this to be mascots for their little pet ideological projects. Because when you're you took a bunch of stuff, yeah. When you're very, very rich, and you didn't get there doing very, very much, and you've been insulated from hard reality for a very long time, you get bored like other people do, and you want to be cool and meaningful. And so what do? You pay for it. You read a book, think you're very clever, and you pay to talk to people because you're a famous CEO. Therefore, you must be very, very important or intelligent, or you're an administrator or something. You must be very, very big. And that's what they do. That's why Peter Thiel is debating someone like Graeber, David Graeber. It's not because they're peers. It's actually because they're not peers. It's because Peter Thiel can pay his way into getting an audience, and Graeber was just that good. Now, they get to the stage, and Thiel looks like a moron, but he got to the stage, and he put himself on the stage. I think you can leave the of the soul part. Turns out to be true 9 times out of 10. Yeah, but I like to see that confirmed first.
The leftist order is completely dead, and that's what I sensed in both California and in Massachusetts, where it was a fruit that had it was a tree that can no longer bear fruit, and
it was a fruit that can no longer bear trees.
We have not realized it yet. And you find with a lot of the science authors that none of them believe in the stuff the left says, where every single scientific study area and humanities area, people don't believe in the blank slate. And this is a bipartisan position. They don't believe that in innate progress.
Then why is it a left thing? Why are you listing it as a left thing if it's not a bipartisan? Is that a burr? It is a burr. Thank you very much. Now I can be almost as cool as Rudyard. Love you.
Progress. Religious departments don't believe in secularism anymore, or the disenchanted universe, or
they don't believe in the disenchanted universe. Why? That wasn't a leftist who said that. That was a conservative who hated Poles. That was Max Weber. That's the whole what really?
Objectivity or separation. These are all complex things. I got to make a video about them, where the science doesn't believe the left anymore. The left's operating out of secularism anymore, or the disenchanted universe, or objectivity or separation. These are all complex things. I got to make a video about them, where the science doesn't believe the left anymore.
The science doesn't believe the left anymore.
Left's operating out of a century-old science, and we haven't noticed yet. But
century-old science? Like eugenics? What are you talking about?
Their order is weakening and has nothing holding it up left. Things also just got worse as I saw more of the world. When I try to understand someone or...
That sounded pretty good, though. What do you mean things got worse? That sounded great. Don't you like that? The left's losing. Huzzah! This is wonderful for you. All these people in the up top. Watching too much Silo. All these people in charge. They don't believe the left anymore. There's nothing else holding up the left. But all these mega corporations, like Google, obviously run by humanities majors. Google has nothing to do with computers or technology, of course. All these people, all these big tech organizations, they're all holding the right down. The left is losing and winning and losing and winning all at the same time. And this is a good-bad thing. Good.
Something. I try to see the inner logic of their thoughts. Basically, what mental assumptions and what parameters of their mental process would their operating system have to be in order for the choices they reach to be the logically consistent outcome inside their worldview? Because everyone's logical by their own definitions. You can see their...
He was feeling inside me a little too hard.
...thoughts to see how their mind works. And... I saw that society was facing something vastly worse than what I had imagined 2 years before. If you folks watch my videos, you can see the sort of thing I started to notice. And the problem is every single place I looked, I saw more of this. There's nowhere to escape because the degeneracy is crushing us all immediately and so quickly. This is so recent. It's crazy how rapidly we became a dystopia.
So when does he become a rightist in all of this? He's been talking for a little while.
10 years ago, no one would say we're a dystopia, and now it's just so obvious. And the abbreviated answer I like to say is psychological Black Death and mass utopia.
Psychological Black Death.
When I moved to Texas, I was coming to terms with these emotionally.
I'm starting to think Rudyard is intellectually a fascist. I mean, I'm starting to think he's intellectually a certifiable nutball, pal. You know.
And the fundamental reality that Mouse Utopia was something very real and something that I couldn't ignore. And For those who do not
The mice are speaking to me.
know this subject, watch my video on the topic. However, mouse utopia is a complete psychological and mating collapse as a side effect of urbanization. The birth rate crashes to zero. People lose the ability to interact at any level. It's the collapse of society. And the psychological Black Death is a theory I developed on how mouse utopia would manifest as a psychological plague that would drive the population mad. In that it would take people's souls or their mental concepts of the world, and then they would make them do things that they would not do in their normal consciousness. Previous examples of this are the French Revolution, the Nazis, the communists. Totalitarianism is a demonic plague, and I use the word demonic because the ancients and the medievals saw demons as negative psychological archetypes, and those exist by...
No, they didn't. Socrates declared that he had a demon. Demons were just demons were just any sort of like what we would call like a spirit or a power or something.
By definition, and they're spread socially as well, which is the nature of culture. And so we have had these negative psychological manifestations take over our entire society, especially so our ruling class. Our ruling class is run by suicidal, deranged, nihilistic, insane people.
The richest man in the world. I mean, is that, to be fair, actually, you know what? It's not wrong.
And we don't notice. We don't stop them. What's wrong with us? I'm stuck here, guys.
He's a little accidentally cooking here. Unfortunately, it's in the bathtub.
We're all stuck here. Can we figure something out?
But you're not stuck here. You can go to hell anytime you want, apparently. You're just one ayahuasca trip away.
And this is all stuff that's obvious. Every single field, Hollywood, academia, corporate America, is controlled by these negative psychological archetypes that want to kill us all.
All have hook noses and like money, I assume.
I have more experience with how bad insanity can be for obvious reasons, and so these things weigh on my mind very heavily. I'm pretty young, and
only stupid people take the rat utopia experiments to be predictive of anything smooth-brained stupid shits. That sounds like very mouse origin coded thinking, Brooks.
It took a lot of time and effort for me to handle being responsible for this future after having lived through so much trauma. It just felt deeply unfair. I faced the childhood I did, and now this is the social and political reality of the situation. This feels cosmically unfair. I'm sorry. It's just reality. And I can't say how many nights I begged to have my fate changed. How many nights I begged God that this didn't have to be my life.
But the game master the dungeon master just said, no, look, Rudyard, we've been playing this game for 3 nights. If you change your character sheet now, we'll have to redo, the story will make no sense.
The problem is I didn't do anything wrong. None of this is my fault. I'm 23. And the baby boom...
By the way, guys, this is not where you want to end up when you're 23. This is a bad place to end up when you're 40. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad.
Boomers will frequently say, I'm glad I'm not your fault. Sorry, I'm glad I'm not
your father,
your age. But then they don't say shit about how I deal with it.
It's because you deal with it with hard drugs that destroy your body and your mind.
I can hear platitudes about how you guys are sorry for me, but the horrible thing...
I'm not sorry for you.
...is that as I looked around society, as I looked for leadership, no one wanted to deal with mouse utopia. Nowhere I looked were people talking at the population crash, people talking at the psychological breakdown of Zoomers, how Zoomers are constantly overworked, how everyone's depressed. There was no leadership. No one was even thinking about it. That's the horrible thing. And you guys can say this is all ivory tower, but this is my entire life. As a Zoomer, the things I'm describing are my entire lived experience. I never had the Simpsons John Hughes America that was nice. This has been my entire life. Past a certain point, when you think so much about this stuff, you realize you have to do something about it. Where I don't want to have to live with this bullshit. So why am I supposed to put up with this? I'm the one who has to get the rotten end of the deal with the DEI stuff all the time. I am the exemplification of what DEI hates. I am an upper-class, white, Protestant male, talented, high status. I am exactly what leftism hates. All of leftism is so that established whites construct a system where they don't have to compete with me. The entirety of wokeness is removing merit so that enterprising young, basically white guys will never be competitive against the established elite. And they trick you into thinking it's caring about black people.
I got nothing. I got nothing. Just let him go.
God. And I like to say that the problem is I'm stuck here, and I'm going to be stuck here for a while, hopefully, because I'm so young. And so I kind of have to intervene in the game as my top motivation for establishing a sort of society where I can have children. My parents' generation royally fucked up.
With mercury poisoning.
Creating a society inhospitable for people my age. But if I intervene now, we can make things better. I've thought so many times that I would do anything. Okay, Rudyard's gonna fix it, guys. Everyone calm down. Rudyard's got this. He's broke, but he's got this. Things so that my kids could live a better life than I could. And yeah, I've cried about a dozen times about that.
Okay. Oh, we're not fixing it now? We're not intervening? We're just broke? Okay. Damn. Well, that's okay. Rickside, thanks for the 999. What if theory? What if theory, indeed.
I realized that whatever I had to do, I had to help American conservatism. I had held myself back beforehand from being purely political. I didn't see it as my place, and I saw myself as too young. A little bit more than a year ago, I realized I had to dedicate my life to conservatism. I can't afford to stand back and watch as the left completely destroys everything in my society.
Because you're broke. You can't afford it because you're broke, Rudyard.
Whether my ability to get a job, get married, my ethnic composition, religion.
Your ethnic composition.
Ability to run my own company or anything else. At the same time as the global birth rate is careening towards zero and there's no hope of recovery. The global birth rate's crashing faster than our fastest computer models, and these things have really wide standard deviations. I live and die by rightism. If the right loses, it's because I'm dead.
The right loses, it's because Rudyard is dead.
A little over a year ago, I had a dozen friends hit me up in a 2-week period saying that I had to form an organization of my contacts of sharp, young, rightist men. I exist in a very particular networking node due to good luck, where I am capable of communicating with infinite, very smart, young, right-wing men. I have 800 contacts in my phone, which is a lot to many people and small to other people. And people frequently tell me I have
It's like a lot of kids in high school.
The largest network of anyone they've met. And I talk to a lot of different kinds of people, and my attitude is I'm here to empathize with others. Whenever I talk to someone, I say who they are as a person, and then I ask them, what do you want from me? And so I'm here to help you. So if you have certain tasks you'd like me to get done in a peaceful and ethical and loving way, I'd be happy to. I see myself as an intermediary for a lot of different factions of the right. So I shuttle people who have certain skills, people with certain ideologies, set people up to be friends. And the group I formed
he's basically tall Tyrion Lannister.
Is called the Red Dragon, and later changed its name to the Order of the Crimson Dragon.
Because you realized that was maybe showing your hand a little bit. You didn't want to be identified as a serial killer after your little suspicious jaunt on the Appalachian Trail.
Or OCD. Ironically, I don't actually have OCD. I just find it hilarious. It's gone through multiple iterations at this point, and now we have 70 members across the country with multiple in-person locations, including one in Austin. We are a human capital organization, which means we exist to improve the human character of politics and society. We are not a political organization. We are a values-based organization.
That interferes in politics.
We are not an advocacy group. We
just advocate for people
are an improvement
with specific ideological intentions.
group where we exist to improve ourselves and create a brotherhood of I was going to say self-love. That's kind of weird.
Brotherhood of self-love.
Love and empathy, love, and holding each other to standards. We're here to hold each other to standards to become the most excellent men we can be. And that's in a variety of different ways. I believe in masculine excellence in a straight way, in a variety of ways, between intellectual knowledge.
I believe in masculine excellence, no homo.
Knowledge, working out, making money, and we're here to support each other because life fucking sucks. And it's... life is better with friends. The OCD has multiple people working on a sub-variety of different factions between...
Okay. Him and his fellow men in the OCD are heterosexually promoting human excellence amongst each other.
A media company, research center, clubhouse, recruiting, and conferences. Basically, I know lots of people with different skill sets who I connect to do other stuff and to do projects they find interesting. Because I know people who make conferences, so we're going to throw a conference this spring in Austin, Save the West. You guys should come. Then I know lots of people with skills in research, people who are intellectuals, who have read many things. I connect them together to study different topics. So I've had a dozen people working together who research the spirit world, where they pray to God, they do various methods like gateway, and then
The Almighty Pork. Can't see your whole name, I apologize. To Theory. Also, Happy New Year. May I come on stream sometime and ask potentially silly questions about how anarchism could work and how to organize toward it? I will bring tart ice cream. I can't eat ice cream on stream, but thank you very much. Sure. I'll let you know there's a call stream next. And Evil Morty, thanks for the $5. Rudyard is gay, derogatory. Sunday is gay, complimentary. Rudyard isn't gay. He's not nearly cool enough.
they corroborate the results for their studies of religion and the spirit world to reach God more closely. And for the media company, we're making a magazine soon, and then we ultimately like to make video content to be a sort of news or news, entertainment, and educational center. And
oh, he is starting a cult. Cool. Ooh. I need to sign up for this.
the way I see these things is that traditional media is really bad and really lame. And I would like to be a person that you can trust, where you can say, Rudyard vetted this to be honest, because I've been lied to so many times in my life that I don't want to lie to someone else. And yeah, it's just, I read enough history. And when you read enough history, you realize that people get fucked over all the time. And
he read enough history to know that people get fucked over all the time, guys.
It's so unfair. The 30 Years' War, which was a war in 17th century Germany where a third of the population died, everyone's constantly fucking each other over. There's no good guys. And so I just snapped, and I thought, if no one else is going to do this, I'm going to try my best.
He's like Snopes Batman.
And I'm excited for the media company. I think they could do really, really well, and I think I just think there's a lot of cool ideas, and I think current culture and current aesthetic and current society is held back by the old forms. And if we can jump ahead, we can make something truly incredible and truly beautiful, because what else is the nature of life than to do the incredible and the beautiful? The media companies oriented around living history or looking to the past, enjoying the present, and preparing for the future. And I hope you guys stay tuned for the magazine, but we want to make a wide variety of content that aims at the deepest, truest, and most honorable things. So I threw a lot of different businesses at you, and I'm working on all of them, and I've already established leadership systems where I built a leadership structure based around the Trinity, based off alchemical teachings, because with a Trinitarian leadership structure, where for a conference, for example, you have 3 people, they can delegate work amongst themselves, and then 2 will always outvote the third to make decisions, where 2 produces deadlock and 1 produces egomania. And then you move out the people in the Trinity, where I believe in completely fluid leadership structures. As my father said, let your thought and action be one. And what that means to me is that I am a person who
Rudyard, my son, let your thought and action be one.
I need to have space.
Also, your mother's a hoe.
In order to lead or in order to make decisions. And so I believe in the decentralization of power, where this is a radically decentralized organization where, for example, the people working in those different businesses, they keep 80% of that. Me and the whole OCD takes 20%. And that's the arrangement I have now because you guys are doing the fucking work. I want to give you some gratitude. And people work so much harder when they get to financially benefit from it. YouTube did this really well where they have a lot of subcontractors. And so each of these organizations are self-governing and they're also built off their own independent rule sets where I am giving you folks or people in the organization power because I myself do not want to micromanage you. So I'll periodically check with the different organizations. But I built my leadership
Rudyard, you just said you're broke. You just said you're broke, Rudy.
structure of actually pirate warbands and Cossack warbands where I bring people together, we do a lot of cool stuff, and then we split the profits.
That's how Cossacks and pirates work.
Because I think there's so many smart young right-wing men. I run into all the time. The top 20% of Zoomers have more talent than any generation since World War II. You just have to harness the Zoomer energy. And
Just harness the Zoomer energy.
I'm here to harness the angsty Zoomer energy. I am here to support Zoomers doing cool stuff. And as I say, my purpose here is enable you in goodness and
But you've already been enabled, Rudyard.
excellence. And this is so much fun.
But this is so much fun.
I say because I'm Irish. That's a cultural tick. My attitude is that for these sorts of things, culture itself is the most important thing. And if we establish a series of independent sub-businesses based around strong unifying values like
He has a cultural tick. Cultural Tourette's.
honor, freedom, and truth, we can shuttle smart people from one topic to another. The thing is that we are...
I'm Italian, I do that all the time. No, you do this. That's what you do when you can't think of a word. Oh yeah, I have the appointment on. Oh yes, on Tuesday. That's what you do if you're Italian.
generating human capital by selecting really smart, cool guys who can do a lot of amazing things and
Mamma mia!
socializing them with
Ow! That was too hard.
skills and good values. I want to have as many businesses as possible. We could do loads of stuff. Smart guys can do many things. We could have people study theology. We could make a dating service.
Smart guys can do many things. We can get people to study theology. We can start a dating service.
We could, I don't know, have services to help small towns.
We could have services for small towns.
I don't know if these will work, but I'm throwing ideas out.
That's the range. We can get people to study theology, we can start dating services, and we can start services for small towns.
The intellectual equivalent of an assault rifle. You throw me to a crowd and see if I work. And
don't do that with an assault rifle, Rudyard. That's a bad way to use an assault rifle.
if my ideas fail, throw them out.
You're thinking of a grenade.
Yeah, but the thing with culture is it creates an underlying almost nuclear core.
Listen, I'm full of ideas. I'm a genius. I just need to get people to do work for me for free and think of the things they'll come up with.
Or in human nature that allows you to do a lot of different things. And the thing that we're failing the hardest at is culture. And most of the West's issues are cultural problems. And I take
most of the West's issues are cultural problems.
Complete responsibility for solving the West's cultural problem.
Wait, what?
We're failing the hardest at is culture. And most of the West's issues are cultural problems. And I take complete responsibility for solving the West's cultural problems.
So it's your fault. Got it.
We'll get to that later. But I'm here for you guys, where if we can fix the underlying cultural current, we can fix almost every other problem. And the problem with the cultural current is lack of values and connection. And so I'm here to give you folks values and connections.
Thank you, Rudyard. It's okay, guys. We're covered. Rudyard's going to give us values and connections. Sorted. Whew. I'm going to be honest. I was getting nervous. But it's okay. Rudy's got this, guys.
I have no interest in being a strictly political group. I have no interest in being militant. I just believe in...
You have no interest in a militant? He has no interest in a militant.
Being useful to others. And I would like to be useful, to provide you as many useful services as possible. And...
Okay, chat, take your bets. What hallucinogen is he consuming right now?
Yeah, that's what we're about. This isn't an organization that does crazy or aggressive stuff. We're here.
It's not an organization at all. It doesn't exist.
Here to provide you useful services, and you will enjoy getting your useful services.
You will enjoy getting your gooseful services. You will be goosed. You will be full of goose. You will be the goosefullest you've ever been because of Rudyard's gooseful services. Yeah.
And
I can smell that goose already.
I really... Oh, I need to get to this first. Sorry, I keep a script and then I periodically go on and off the script. I can say with complete certainty that we have the best talent of anywhere. We have the smartest, most moral, adaptive, honorable, brave group of young men you'll find in any place. I am so happy to have you people. You're super cool. You're super smart. Everything I said before. I am so happy.
I like about half of you guys, just so you know. Chat, I'm not going to tell you who, but I'm going to be nice to you if you pay me.
That I have the current group of people who I am leading, and I am so grateful for all of you. This couldn't have been a better ride. And upon my honor, I will maintain the...
Sunday loves me. Yeah, you know that, because I should have kicked you a million years ago.
quality of this organization, because I see this predominantly...
I've had to unban you like 6 times now.
As it serves many purposes, but as a hiring group, because I have lots of friends in tech and politics where they don't know how to hire young people because college failed. So I will make your son...
I got better. I hope for your sake. That was the last time.
As amazing as possible. I will force your son to be amazing if you give me responsibility for him.
Give responsibility for your son to Rudyard, and he will force him to be amazing. Evil Morty, please love me for $5 more. But I like you, okay? You're on the right track. I like you.
Your son, if he leaves my organization, he will be more handsome, he will be smarter, he will be braver, he will be more charming.
Look, this man is going to make your son handsome, okay? He knows what he's doing.
He will pass on your ancestral line.
He will pass on your ancestral line. Rudyard will make personally certain that your genes are carried forward.
This is my duty. You have my word of honor that I will try to make your son as good as possible.
You have Rudyard's word of honor that he will make certain that your son inseminates somebody.
And I see that as a real problem because there's nothing for men, and just men are completely blocked out of life. So this is men supporting each other in a way...
In a heterosexual, not gay, not homo way.
That is healthy, straight, noble, and empathic.
And most importantly, not gay. Thank you, Lisa Blogger, for the $2. Please like me, senpai. Fine. For you, Lisa, you get... Yeah, sure.
While going hard. These are the things I stand...
We will make your men hard together in a completely heterosexual, straight, not gay, balls not touching way.
And for from the bottom of my soul.
And he's a bottom.
So...
in the soul.
I would like to help make me and the OCD as good men as possible. And I'd like...
He will make your sons into good men by making sure that they pass on their genes.
You to help hold me...
Evil Morty, thanks for the $10. Oh, see, that's how you buy love. He's becoming the white Diddy. The white diddly-dee potatoes, more like.
Responsible for not slipping up. And I mean that in a real sense. I don't mean it in the left sense, where the left always does stuff where they'll say, I'm holding you accountable, but it's on their tiny minutia of their stupid philosophy that
We do that.
No reasonable or sane person would care about. I'm just really proud of the quality of guys I get, and we can accomplish.
Rudyard's really proud of the quality of the guys he gets. Celestial Angel 666 times to $20 bought him in a soul way. I read that yaoi once, I think. Oh shit, did I reveal too much?
We can, if you give us a goal, we can accomplish it. I know people in almost every industry. I know people with different skill sets, and I've spent a lot of time cultivating culture and a leadership structure. You should ask me about the leadership structure, where I took it from a lot of different historic influences, because I care a lot about the innate biodiversity and the innate fluidity of the group, because I very much prioritize.
He's very concerned about his group of straight men's fluids.
Groups that operate seamlessly.
He said seamlessly in a suspicious way.
Where you need to have leadership on an asynchronous level, where purely I do not have to do all the leading. Because once you have leadership on an asynchronous level, and it's very important to vet people for values, you can accomplish so much more, because that's how all great empires were created. The British, the Greeks, the Mongols, every great empire was formed because men took responsibility for holding each other accountable to get better.
Yeah, the British Empire is the big self-help group for men.
The horror. We might have a better society. And I believe purely in positive things. I don't...
He believes purely in positive things.
There is no negative side to this message.
He's not HIV negative at all.
I am just here to try to help men to be better. And I take responsibility for it. And this is just so dope. Like, the groups...
This is so dope. It's scrumpadocious.
Got a lot of energy. We're doing a lot of projects. I couldn't be happier. And it's we're backed by lots of people. We're backed by lots of people in a sub variety of fields. We have multiple celebrities in the group whose names I will not mention.
Ooh.
As well as people from multiple presidential administrations, CEOs, and genuine intellectuals who are making philosophic breakthroughs.
Ooh. Now you got my attention, Rudyard.
The group is backed by multiple Silicon Valley kingpins and politicians. This is what I do in my free time, I guess. Hit me up if you're interested.
He's so fucking cool. This is why he took his videos down.
We are going to be opening the group up to the public this February.
Oh. 1 month away, guys. We eating good in 2025.
And so we will have people who will read emails and assess you based on whether or not you're a fit for the group, where I have many friends who study psychological traits. And so we have already made a test to assess the members by psychological traits, which we would like to make into an AI. And one of our goals is, with my background in human nature and anthropology, to...
He's got a background in human nature.
To establish AIs and technology to assess the cultural level of society, to assess for cultural levels of healthiness and group compatibility.
Trombe12, thanks to $2. He reminds me of people I knew who became Nazis. I'm sorry, I need a minute. You know what I love about this? What I love about this is that this means that people like Yarvin and Teal, they're now connected to people like this. Oh, this is gonna be an interesting year for me. It's gonna be a bad year for everybody else. It's gonna be an interesting year for me.
Does this ethnicity, do they work well in a company with this ethnicity?
He wants to make an AI to racially segregate people for maximum efficiency.
That with this person's personality traits, how are you supposed to teach to them? With this person, what will they perceive as an insult? And this is why mentalizing is so important to me.
This is why mentalizing is so important to him.
Understanding and empathizing with how others think. Because without it, we're completely blind, as we can see with our current elite, which...
An AI that sorts ethnicities is amazing. Please make it, please. I want him to make this so badly.
Is completely incapable of empathizing with anyone, including their own people. I really love the act of being a leader. I feel truly alive for the first time. I can feel your energy and I can connect with you even through the screen.
We know which ending of Deus Ex he picked.
There's nothing that can beat the feeling of speaking in front of a crowd, channeling its energy into your words.
You're alone in a bedroom, Rudyard.
And as you breathe in unison with the crowd.
Rudyard, you're alone in a bedroom right now.
There's nothing better.
That's the drugs. There's nobody there.
Than holding the knife of decision in the air, where you're about to make a decision.
Rudyard, put down the knife!
Trying to figure out where you strike. The act of making a decision and executing is it's so hype. And there's nothing more fun than assessing every single other player in the game and finding their strengths and weaknesses. God willing, I would like to do this for the rest of my life.
5 years by the look of it.
So I basically decided to take the future of conservatism into my own hands. I'm here to cooperate with people. Whatever that needs, I'll do it.
Everyone stay calm. Your savior has arrived.
And I believe in human flourishing, so...
I too believe in human flourishing. Brothers.
I support the... I'm not here to...
I too support good things. And denounce bad things.
And that stuff. I'm just here to support you and help you in the way you...
Chocolate good. Mud pie bad.
...would like. So... I take responsibility for the soul of my society. I take responsibility that we have the cultural institutions that allow us through rightism to flourish. That is my main method. I do not want to run for office or attain political power.
No, run for office, attain political power. Do it. Do it, Rudyard.
That stuff. I would just like to help heal the sickness in our culture.
He just wants to be the priestly figurehead. Or he wants to work in the background, pulling the strings.
Because we're so sick and it's so disgusting. And I have been in communication with God that's gradually increased as I healed from PTSD. Because as I pulled out the PTSD, the thing that filled the void was God.
Well, I wonder if he thinks he's Emperor Palpatine times $2. I think he thinks he's the Force.
And as I've healed, I feel God more and more. And it's just made my life so beautiful and it's so meaningful. And I can't overstate how incredible it is. And so
okay, he lost me with the whole faking ayahuasca trips and talking about being raped and raping and being abused, but he won me back. Yeah, he's not the Kwisatz Haderach. He is Dune. He is Dune. Dune, don't fuck the worm. Silence, wench. I'm gonna fuck it. I'm Dune. Sister Godiva, thanks for the 50 sec. And the reigning world champion of saying many words that ultimately mean nothing. This does not mean nothing. This means more things than your tiny human brain can comprehend.
So thank you. And thank you.
No. Thank you.
Manifesto I wrote, the manifesto for the new right, that was dictated to me by God. And God told me that I should integrate science, Christianity, and Darwinism into a single coherent theory. I've been regularly communicating with God about what he believes the future of the right philosophically should be. And this is what I'm about to feed you in this video is the best attempt. It will not be perfect. And this is a work in process where I integrate with you as a public. We talk to each other and I change my ideas over time.
Rudyard, you're talking to your camera.
So that we can help all of each other to attain the best state possible. The ideology I've been developing I call formism so far, although I'm not attached to that name. Formism is the idea that we should replicate the divine forms in material form. That we should study God and the divine Platonic forms through mysticism to make technologies which can model the divine will as closely as possible.
I think he took a lot of kratom and then just spent like 72 hours just manically reading Warhammer 4th edition books.
That the force that powers the universe is responsibility and honor.
The force that powers the universe is responsibility and honor.
It's a socially conservative, meritocratic, masculine, martial, mystic,
that is
and
not
yet technologically
gay.
Progressive worldview, as
that is straight.
You'll see over the course of this video. God is not satisfied with us and says that our current society is an abomination of degeneracy, demons, and evil. As I've come closer with God, I've come to completely loathe the current society we live in. We live in the world before the flood, like in the Old Testament, where before God smites everyone. And the degeneracy is so evil, our society is dying in real time, in front of our own eyes, yet we're too complacent to realize it. As time came to pass, I came to realize the world of modernism that I thought I had lived in for my whole life was a lie and was never real at all, that I had been duped. And as I saw the world through God, my entire perspective on the universe changed. I stopped seeing the world as right or left, but rather upon, does it carry God's positive life charge or not? Is it a higher form where it is capable of greater complexity and more aligned with the divine will, or is it a lower form built off pettiness? I came to realize that God was the only force strong enough to avoid mouse utopia. God was the force missing from our society, and that everything was a false cardboard imitation of something real, since it lacked the inner spirit of God which permeated it. We try to imitate God's excellence only to fail and grow resentful. Our entire age of history is...
He says he previously just said he lives or dies by rightism.
Is lies made as humans tried to make that which only God can do. I started praying to God all the time.
We need to get this guy and spirit science together. Needs to happen.
This was a side effect of my PTSD. There were too many nights I couldn't sleep. PTSD is so horrible, I can't overstate it. Growing up, I had always believed that the true bedrock of my character was honor, that when things were the worst they could ever be, that my reflexive concept of honor was something that I could always rely on. That worked when the suffering of my childhood was at its worst, when I had a really horrible external threat. But once I lost immediate risks, I needed a moral code besides honor to process the world through. However,
but I thought you said honor was the foundation of the universe.
With the year upon year of horrible pain, honor still wasn't enough. Who am I to stand against the world?
But it was the foundation of the universe.
I'm just a weak mortal who suffers every day, who's fucking always in pain. I was thinking today about how every day of my life, ever since I can remember, I have been in physical pain. PTSD is...
Yeah, that's what adulthood is.
So funny. I will literally fight my mom to the death. I'll go to hell, or
my joints are sore too. My neck feels awful after stream.
Drop out of school, but then I get...
August Gardner, thanks for the 14 months.
Get anxious about a clock in a different room.
Honor is the foundation of the universe, but it's just... ain't enough.
Chiming, so I can't sleep at night. Or I think about, do I send this text? I stopped doing this in the last 6 months. Do I send a text at 12:03 or 12, which is better? And the real answer is 12:03. I get anxious over little stuff rather than the big stuff. It's
I don't know
funny,
why that hit me so funny.
but it's human nature. I realized that Christ was the only thing capable of giving...
Why does he have PTSD? I'm not sure he has PTSD. I think he had a really bad drug trip and it fucked with him. And I think he's redescribing his past through it. He probably does have PTSD from something, but I don't know if anything that he's talking about is real. Like, the one consistent part in all of this is that this man is completely fucking delusional. Just completely disconnected from reality. So when he gives like factual accounts of his background or of his experiences, you have to remember that he says he's in the same key that he talks about journeying into the spirit world and literally communing on a regular basis with God and asking him questions about how to run his channel.
My life peace. After a long day of suffering through the horrors of PTSD, when it's 4 a.m. and I know I'm not going to sleep that night, I take various supplements and pass out thinking about Christ's love.
Christ's love isn't enough. You have to take the supplements.
It's the most beautiful thing in the world. I think about the beauty of being cleaned out of my sins and knowing the way, that all life has already been solved since I follow Christ.
You do not know the way.
Since you are knowing what doing the right thing is. After having a schizophrenic mother and an autistic father, something I really like about Christianity is that if you follow it correctly, you can face any life situation, and religion is a technique on how to deal with it. Due to my mother's gaslighting, I've always been paranoid that I've been crazy over my life. I've always been scared that I will lose control of my own mind and descend into madness under the horror I've seen.
I got some bad news for you, buddy.
I have a pretty good mental map of the spirit world at this point, where I've been gaining it from different spiritual forces. And what Christianity does is it operates like a triangle in the spirit world, where the tree of life is all conscious thought in the biosphere, while in the tree of life is things you can see in...
Oh, nice. This is still going on. We got at least 4.5 more hours, buddy. 5.5 more hours of this.
Mystic experiences. It's just the nature of the spirit world itself. And then Christianity's the cross, as its dominant symbol suggests, in that Christ and Christianity allows you to move up and down from higher forms out of lower forms. So this is the cross. You have...
He becoming a right. He never explained how he became a rightist. I thought this was going to be more biographical. Instead, what we got is he went to Harvard. People at Harvard sucked. They weren't as cool as him and his eugenicist girlfriend who drank vodka constantly. And then he talked to God some more.
Human life as this rod. This is two-dimensional reality. And then Christianity lets you become a better...
As a Christian, I'm very offended as well. You should be.
...person. It lets you to move up the cross. And it makes you more like God. And Christianity's very effective.
I really don't like metaphysics. That's because you've only experienced this shit. Metaphysics is awesome. It's awesome. Marx did metaphysics. Bergson did metaphysics. He's great. Spinoza did metaphysics. Read metaphysics. Metaphysics is cool. It's interesting. This is Deleuze, not Spinoza, but it's Deleuze on Spinoza. Metaphysics is awesome.
At that thing making
you do like metaphysics. You just associate metaphysics with woo-woo stuff, not with really hard, really good philosophy.
You good. But then it doesn't have mental techniques for other things, because even Christianity, although it was made by God, it does not have techniques for every single element of human life, especially the ways to relate to power that stem from
metaphysics is cool, is incredible. Samuel Alexander is so cool. Who is Samuel Alexander? Samuel Alexander. I am not familiar with that name. British philosopher. Oh, he's the degrowth guy. Space, Time, and Deity. That's an interesting book title. We'll look into that.
Industrial technology, which is what I'd like to do, where I am fully a Christian.
August Gardner, thanks for the 199. Bro has never read a lick of Marx. Ist literature. Bro has never read a lick of Marxist literature. I thought you were writing in Latin for a second there. Thank you for the 199.
And if I say anything that ever contradicts the Bible in these things, I immediately submit. I do not fuck with Yahweh. He wins every fight.
You just described him as a Zoomer bro, sir.
But I am here to help life develop and help the biosphere attain greater excellence.
He's here to help the biosphere attain greater excellence.
And that, although I am Christian full-heartedly,
Really depends on what you mean by metaphysics. Marx and Engels shed hard on metaphysics, but arguably no one who says the word today means what they meant. Well, hang on. Rudyard's tickling my brain again. Damn, I lost it. That's the worst. Marx talked about the metaphysical dimension towards sort of with respect to commodity, involved in commodity fetishism, shall we say, in a derogatory fashion. But insofar as Marx's project was primarily critical and was engaging in critique, I don't think he was removing the possibility of engaging in metaphysical philosophy in an interesting, positive way, if that makes sense. Sister Godiva, thanks for the 50 sec. My girlfriend is a psych nurse. She brought home a paper a patient had given her describing networking and God. It showed how God was root and IP 0.0.0.0, etc. Fascinating. Also Conforming says, lol, Yahweh wins every fight except against Chemosh in 2 Kings 3 and against the Babylonians and Assyrians. 2 Kings 3. Really? The one downside with the new office is the books are farther away behind me, so I can't just spin around and grab them. Moab revolts. Joram, son of Ahab, became king of Israel and Samaria in the 18th century. In the 18th year, sorry. 18th century, Jesus. 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and he reigned 12 years. But Jehoshaphat asks, is there no prophet of the Lord here through whom we may inquire of the Lord? Elisha, son of Shaphat, is here. He used to pour water on the hands of Elijah. The word of the Lord is with him, says Jehoshaphat. Elisha said to the king of Israel, why do you want to involve me? Go to the prophets of your father and the prophets of your mother. No, because it's the Lord who called us 3 kings together to deliver us into the hands of Moab. Elisha said, as surely as the Lord Almighty lives, whom I serve, if I did not have respect for the presence of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, I would not pay any attention to you, but now bring me a harpist. While the harpist was playing, the hand of the Lord came on Elisha, and he said, this is what the Lord says, I will fill this valley with pools of water. For this is what the Lord says, you will see neither wind nor rain, yet this valley will be filled with water, and you, your cattle, and your other animals will drink. This is an easy thing in the eyes of the Lord. He will also deliver Moab into your hands. You will overthrow every fortified city and every major town. You will cut down every good tree, stop up all the springs, and ruin every good field with stones. Well, that's not very nice. The next morning, the land was filled with water. Damn. Now all the Moabites had heard that the kings had come to fight against them, so every man, young and old, who could bear arms, was called up and stationed on the border. When they got up early in the morning, the sun was shining on the water. To the Moabites across the way, the water looked red like blood. That's blood, they said. Those kings must have fought and slaughtered each other. Now to the plunder, Moab. But when the Moabites came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and fought them until they fled, and the Israelites invaded the land and slaughtered the Moabites. They destroyed the towns, and each man threw a stone in every good field until it was covered. Seemed to have gone their way.
I need to get our people to survive. So remember, in the spirit world, Christianity is the triangle, and then you have the tree, which is all human life. So Christianity is here to make you a better person. It's not here to increase your reproductive fitness. I was able to trust again through Christ since responsibility.
Oh shit! What did I do? What did I do? Hang on. I hit the timeline. Wait. So we were. Did I go back? I think I might have gone back.
Solving the West's culture.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so we're like here.
We live in the world before the flood, like in the Old Testament. The cross, as it's he is the only person who's actually done Could be ideas, which could be religions, Christianity as a psychic string where I could make you a better person. It's not here to increase your reproductive fitness. That stem from industrial technology, which is of the spirit world at this point, where I've been
Okay, we'll start here.
Gaining it from different spiritual forces. And what Christianity does is it operates like a triangle in the spirit world, where the tree of life is all conscious thought in the biosphere, while in the tree of life is things you can see in mystic experiences. It's just the nature of the spirit world itself. And then Christianity's the cross, as its dominant symbol suggests, in that Christ and Christianity allows you to move up and down from higher forms out of lower forms. So this is the cross. You have human life as this rod. This is two-dimensional reality. And then Christianity lets you become a...
Human life is two-dimensional reality. Let's hear that again, okay?
As this rod. This is two-dimensional reality.
Human life is two-dimensional. We are literally in flatland, dear children. I look 3D, but it's an illusion. I'm flat. In fact, if you tap your screen, you will see everything is completely flat. I'm actually, like, pressed up against my wall right now. I can't even grab my books. We're just... It's like in Luigi's Mansion, what happened to Mario.
And then Christianity lets you become a better person. It lets you to move up the cross. And it makes you more like God.
Christianity makes you two-dimensional, but on a higher bracket.
And Christianity's very effective at that thing, making you good. But then it doesn't have mental techniques for other things. Because even Christianity, although it was made by God, it does not have techniques for every single element of human life, especially the ways to relate.
Yeah, God really dropped the ball there.
To power that stem from industrial technology, which is what I'd like to do. Where I am fully a Christian, and if I say anything that ever contradicts the Bible in the...
Well, you were talking to Satan. You said you thought he was kind of a okay guy after chatting with him.
These things, I immediately submit. I do not fuck with Yahweh. He wins every fight. But I am here to help life develop and help the biosphere attain greater excellence.
There we go. This is where we left off.
And that, although I am Christian full-heartedly, I need to get our people to survive. So remember, in the spirit world, Christianity is the triangle, and then you have the tree, which is all human life. So Christianity is here to make you a better person. It's not here to increase your reproductive fitness.
But Rudyard is here to increase your reproductive fitness.
I was able...
Rudyard will massage your balls to make sure.
...to trust again through Christ, since I knew that if I followed Christianity, I would have a path through the swamp of life. I was able to conceptualize Christianity as a psychic charge that I can pull energy, spiritual energy from. Basically, the way I naturally conceptualize the world is energetic, where the way I process reality is that I have my own energetic field, and then everything around me, life is like a buzzing forest. So when I talk to someone, I can feel you, I can sense you, I can figure out your core strengths and weaknesses, I can figure out more of what your story is, and I can sense a lot of stuff about you just from your vibe. And so I feel your vibe and I relate to that. And this is just how I process all of reality. I feel the vibe of the audience right now. And
Rudyard is feeling you right now.
So I could sense Christ as a very powerful source to siphon energy from, and I conceptualized my relationship with Christianity as a psychic string where I could just draw spiritual energy, like a mother with a baby with the umbilical cord. Basically, a way to conceptualize an incredibly powerful warren, and a warren for a mystic is a place that you draw energy from. And so Christianity is
He's a wizard.
Incredibly powerful.
You're a wizard, Rudy.
Warren, where people around the world and over history have developed techniques to siphon psychic energy from God to them, so that as they pray, they become more like God. This is quite obvious when you look at history. This is
obvious when you look at history.
Exactly what the nature of Christianity is. And it suggests as well that people can have religious experiences that they're all...
What suggests? You just said it. You're not referring to... You didn't refer to anything, Rudyard. What says?
Are these psychic warrens, which could be ideas, which could be religions, that people share ideas with, and they're operating out of this shared idea space, which ultimately must exist in the spirit world, because an idea must exist somewhere.
An idea must exist somewhere. It must exist in the spirit world. Okay, makes sense. He is Mr. Patch he is the Patch Man from Spirit Science. That's who he is. That's him. They just pitched his voice up to obscure his identity.
Christ's great gift to us is that when people hear about my childhood, they say, I'm glad I'm not that kid. I'm glad I'm not that kid for my whole fucking life. And between childhood trauma, not being understood,
I'm glad I'm not that kid. I'm not going to lie.
By others psychologically, and the baby boomers leaving society as a dumpster fire, as well as getting friggin' messages from the spirit world, my whole life has been people pitying me and then not doing shit about it. I get you have sympathy, but I want empathy. I want you to actually understand my struggle and how do I deal with it. What the fuck am I supposed to do with this crap?
I don't know. You're the one talking to God, buddy.
And Christ is the great gift to the I'm glad I'm not that kids of the world. He is the only person who's actually
this book doesn't have any
tried
answers
to fix our problem. And so thank you, Christ. You will always have my eternal loyalty. And I think it's because the Jews have been that people of history. They're the people that people keep taking pot shots at. And Christ is great for those who have been unfairly nailed to the cross. And so,
and by the way, people don't like Jews, and then continuing without any... What was the purpose of that?
I'm eternally grateful for Christ for giving me a way to get out of PTSD. Thank
you. And into psychosis.
There were too many nights in that time when I prayed to God, I will literally do anything you say for me to get this pain to end. I remember begging God how it was cosmically acceptable to let immortals suffer this much. That if the pain ever stopped, that I would thank God every single day and just live my life for him. That this pain wasn't something my body could take. That I just didn't have the emotional registers to deal with this. My faith in God stemmed from it being the only thing I could draw real solace from. I've done lots of really cool stuff in my life, but in my moments of suffering, I can only think about Christ on the cross. I wrote this video since my life goal as a child and adult was to brag as much as possible. This is a video I wrote where I do get to brag, and there are a few accomplishments I'd like to briefly gloat over before I continue dictating things God said to me. One time I went viral for posting a photo of me when someone posted a really nerdy photo as a caption to something I said. The real photo of me was so handsome as a contrast that it got nearly 1 million views. I am going to hold the I was so handsome I went viral card over people for the rest of my life. So I've just stopped caring, and I'm just going to tell you folks the total truth.
Okay.
I've been using a cocktail of supplements to survive the physical suffering of PTSD.
I'm gonna come clean, Rudyard, and I'm gonna tell you the whole truth too, okay? Since we're being honest with each other. We could tell.
PTSD is literally physically painful, and so without these, I lose the actual ability to move. That's not an exaggeration in that without these supplements to loosen up my amygdala or my emotional brain, my amygdala shuts my...
He needed to loosen up his amygdala.
My brain down, so I lose...
His amygdala shuts his brain down.
Lose the ability to speak, move, or think.
Yeah, that's what... Because you'd be dead if your amygdala shut down.
There have literally been dozens of times in my life I lose the ability to speak or walk, where I sit paralyzed in a chair, unable to do anything, or even move my head or my arms.
Nothing worse than a tight amygdala.
Times I'll have friends next to me who try to speak to me and I literally can't reply for over half an hour since the verbal part of my brain's shut down. The only way I ever sleep is with these supplements and relaxants. Kratom is the substance that saved my life on PTSD. I'm not gonna lie.
One of the symptoms of kratom use, by the way, is one of the side effects of kratom use is psychosis.
Kratom is addictive and is not a perfect substance. It's a low-level opiate, which is a traditional remedy from Thailand, where among the local peoples, they take kratom to work their 12-hour shifts in the rubber plantations and with hard factory work. As I said before, it's literally saved my life. I would not be able to physically move for years without
Rudyard, I think it's distinctly likely that kratom use will kill you.
My life would be so excruciatingly painful, even today, without kratom. I have gone through kratom withdrawal 6 times. It's not that bad for me, although I know it's worse for other people. Where for me, the withdrawal is only a single day. For other people, it can be weeks. And each time, after a few months, I relapse back onto kratom.
Kratom's not illegal.
Because something bad happened in my life, like a work issue or problem with family, and I needed just to wake up and do my job.
Okay, if you're ever trying YouTube, by the way, and you feel like you need substances in order to get up and stream or make a video, it's time to stop. It is time to stop. The cost is too damn high. It is time to stop. I've said this before. I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see people who do this job dropping like flies. We're seeing them just kill themselves. Literally kill themselves. Hustling. And it's not good. It's not good.
Even with all the issues, I give kratom an overwhelmingly positive review. It's way better than taking antidepressants and especially benzos.
I mean, if you're taking like Jordan Peterson, maybe.
I was looking at all of the alternatives that the regime wants you to take for PTSD. And they're benzos. Look at what benzos did to Peterson. That's a 6-month withdrawal, not a 2-day withdrawal. That's a real issue. And my home state of Pennsylvania got wiped out by way more powerful opiates. Pennsylvania is the state of the country that is the most opiate deaths of any state. Even California or Texas in sheer numbers due to the pain of deindustrialization. And the opiates the regime feeds you, those have, again, 4 to 6, I think it's 4 to 6 months, check that. And I can't be thankful enough for kratom. When you look at the coalition building I did, times I talked to God, reading, traveling, it was powered off the green haze as
Oh,
I called it. And
talking to God was powered up you don't say.
Again, if you are watching this and you have made it this far, I trust that you should be responsible. You should use these supplements in a way that is responsible. And you
guys, don't do kratom. Just don't do it. Okay, we've seen it. I've seen enough. You've seen enough. Don't do it. Pick something else. Talk to your doctor. Think of something else, okay? I don't care what you're going through. Avoid whatever shit this guy's taking.
You should not be addicted. And you should do correct decisions.
If you're going through withdrawal, you're addicted, Rudyard. That's what that means.
In your life. And if you are addicted and it's bad, you should stop being addicted.
Rudyard, you went into withdrawal 6 times. You are addicted, my dude.
I speak to you as an adult. And
why are you recommending people take drugs that put you into a state of psychosis where you think you're talking to God? Oh, it's because he's in a state of psychosis because of the drugs he's using. Don't do it.
I just show gratitude or grateful things. Kava's amazing. That's
Rudyard,
Polynesian.
I'm calling it. Rudyard is a radical, ambitious new attempt to revitalize the DARE program. That's what he is.
Form of tea that relaxes you. I take that to sleep. You can get it at Amazon. And CBD has also helped me a lot lately.
Well, so I'm combining it with CBD too. Easily the safest thing he's talked about.
And I
use it for sleep occasionally.
It annoys me our society's drug culture where people in my life, especially boomers, have freaked out and taking this stuff. And I'm thinking,
sir, you claim you're going to hell and talking to Satan.
Alcohol's worse.
You know what? No, it's not. I'm gonna argue that one right pretty strongly. No, it'd be better if you just drank more. Rudyard, stop the kratom. Just drink more, okay? This is no.
The friggin' supplements the government tells you to use, so the medications are worse. And my attitude is
kratom is also heavily genetically determined by how badly it affects you. Generally, if you take psychedelics, if you have a history of mental illness or a familial history, it's a lot more dangerous for you.
Be responsible. Research this yourself. Talk to your friends. Make correct decisions about your life since I don't know you.
Talk to your doctor. Don't talk to your friends. If you want to make incorrect decisions, ask your random friends for advice about substances.
I hope you can understand this video as a form of therapy for me, and so I need to tell you this story. Where I have gone through kratom withdrawal 6 times.
Honestly, an alcohol addiction is probably worse, but if he's not an alcoholic, alcohol is probably better by a lot. Well, that's my logic here. Alcohol addiction will kill you, but I don't know if this won't.
It is excruciatingly painful, but it's only for like 1 or 2 days, or sometimes 3 days. And when I was a kid, and this is like country people stuff, my friends and I would talk about was it more painful to be stung by a wasp or a bee or other animals, or like stinging nettle and stuff, or poison ivy. And as a kids, we'd talk about, oh, imagine fire ants, getting stung by a fire ant or being stung by a Japanese hornet. And my life is so excruciatingly painful that I would take those stings, and that's not invitation, God, against the level of suffering I have experienced. Because the first time I went through kratom withdrawal, I was in Thailand, and I didn't pack kratom with me. I just didn't want to have it. And so I went through withdrawal, and this was the first time it happened to me. And I didn't sleep all night. And I took too much Benadryl because I couldn't sleep. And I was panicking I was going to die because I took so much Benadryl to sleep, and then I didn't. And I couldn't lie down because my body was constantly shaking with withdrawal symptoms. And I thought I was going to die because this was the first time I'd ever gone through withdrawal, and I was just terrified. And after that night, I actually didn't have any withdrawal symptoms, but that night was horrible, and it was truly terrible. I remember calling Merrick at 7 a.m. Thailand's time, which was his night, and I basically called him to say, Merrick, something really bad just happened. And then
I don't think he was just taking kratom.
I started taking some kava, and I passed out that morning when I was reading James C. Scott's book on Southeast Asian anarchism.
Good book to go out dying with.
I'm just sharing this story for you because I want to convey the amount of physical suffering I went through. And even with all the withdrawal is deeply unpleasant. It feels like you're fucking dying, and it feels like... I think opiate withdrawal is actually a useful parallel for our current society because I think we are so powered off the opium of modernity that once our society goes through population decline, we will experience symptoms like opiate withdrawal. And I tell you this, it's really scary. You feel like you're dying, but you're not. Everything will be fine. If you are going through opiate withdrawal, I want you to know you will be fine. You are in horrible pain, but you need to keep going to go through withdrawal. Even with all this, I still think kratom's a good product. Bye.
Bye. Alright, chat. I'm sending you to Westside Tyler as a joke. When you get there, I want you all to say, listen to me very carefully, this is important, chat, okay? When you get to the channel I'm sending you to, I want you to say, did you hear about Joe Rogan? Just say that. Did you hear about Joe Rogan? Just spam it. Spam it. Don't spam it. Don't spam it. Just say, did you hear about Joe Rogan, okay? Just do it. It'll be fun. All right. Bye-bye.